Have some fun tonight. Go get us a W. Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What the? Copy. Right foot down. We got to go, player. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. Miss your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great. Ridiculous, man. Holy. You see that? Holy cow. Good job, man. Two times, baby. Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Darian Gilliam, aka Black Flags Matter, back for another edition of the famous NASCAR Weekly Podcast. I'm here with my usual panel, Eric Eastep, The Iceberg, and I was about to say Dannybtalks. Dannybtalks.
Danny Gilliam, Darian B Talks. Yep.
Yeah,
It do be Darian B birthday. Happy birthday, Darian.
Thank you guys so much.
Happy birthday.
Birthday, Darian, 26 years old.
Golden
I'm 26.
birthday.
I'm 26, bro. I don't feel 26. I don't look anywhere close to 26 neither. So that's a blessing, I guess.
Well, it's your golden birthday too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh yeah, my mom said the same thing. I didn't understand what she was saying at first, but I was like, oh okay. Like once she explained it.
Hey y'all, do you remember what we were doing on this night? In 5 years
I was just about to bring that up.
2018?
Yes. Time flies. 5 years ago, we did on this very night, on my 21st birthday, we had Bobby Allison on during season 1 for like 5 minutes.
I don't know what you guys are doing. I gotta go by.
I gotta stop it. And he just hangs up the phone, which by the way, I think Jarrett still has that phone, I believe.
Yes,
So,
I do.
that's good.
I scroll down my my calls, the first call on this phone, this phone right here, first call was from Bobby Allison. I picked up the phone. I was here. Hi, is this Jarrett Lundberg? I'm like, yes, sir. Who's this? This is Bobby Allison. I'm like,
is the interview today?
I was like, oh, did you ask that? I don't even remember. I was like, oh my god, I gotta. Hi.
Yeah, so we've got good memories, but man, time flies now. Now we're in season 6, so it's pretty crazy. But appreciate all the birthday wishes and of course the super chats. We will get to those at the top of the hour. But fellas, let's get started with our famous hot take segment. Danny, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You start us off.
Man, my hot takes. Got to get something hotter than the Oppenheimer explosion me and Darian saw last night. Let's see here. I'll go with this shirt I got on. Road America. There is no good reason with this short track package that we have why we should be even considering going to Richmond 2 times a year. And why the heck are we forcing AJ Allmendinger to do this crazy traveling back and forth just because he wants to go win on a road course? Why are we not racing all the series at Road America this weekend? It was simple as that. It was right there. NASCAR didn't do it. We could have both series there. We should have both series there next year.
Enough time to get the timer ready.
Dang, yeah. He just short, sweet, and to the point. Eric,
It makes a good point. I talked about my hot take already on my show, I think yesterday. But last week, Justin Haley announced he's going to Rick Ware Racing. He kind of explained his decision over the weekend at Pocono. He cited the RFK Alliance, what they're building with Ford, as some of the reasons why this opportunity intrigued him. But when everyone first heard that Justin Haley was going to Rick Ware, the sort of consensus on social media, at least, was, what are you doing? Rick Ware Racing? That is career suicide. I'm not going to sit here and say that Rick Ware is a better option than Colleague, but to say that Justin Haley to Rick Ware is a terrible decision or that there's no merit to that choice, that's just way off base. Rick Ware Racing has gotten a lot better. The next gen cars brought them closer to the back of the pack. They're actually ahead of, I think, one of the legacy cars, one of the Spire cars, obviously Live Fast. So they've gotten better. They've improved. They've added Tommy Baldwin. They've added Robbie Benton to their team in recent years. Obviously, the RFK Alliance. They are building something over there. You guys know this. Rick Ware, he's in sports car racing. He's in IndyCar. He's in other forms of motorsports, and he's had success. It's not like the guy doesn't know how to fund and operate a successful racing team. It's only a matter of time before Rick Ware Racing in NASCAR becomes at least a bit more competitive, and Justin Haley now has job security for at least the next couple of years. This was not a career suicide move, in my opinion.
And don't forget, Rick Ware Racing is ahead of some of the Stewart-Haas racing cars as well. every now and then. Every now and then. At least the 14.
They run there
and
at
the
least.
10. Yeah, it seems like sometimes. All right, Jarrett, you're up.
My hot take is something that you can watch back on this show even 3 years ago. I never thought I'd say this. Pocono is the hottest ticket on the schedule. And
Ooh.
I will say this now. It is so much more improved over the last 3 years than I think any track on the schedule is. From those I know who have been there, from those who were texting me that were at the race this past weekend, the vibe on TV, the fact that more people are watching, the drama that we had from it. Pocono has quickly and insanely out of nowhere become one of the top 5 races to watch every year. Dale Jr. said that Atlanta was the big ticket, the one that everyone needs to watch. He was saying Chicago was. People will always talk about the super speedways or the action tracks. Kansas after the finish people talked about. No. For some reason, this car and Pocono especially just go well together. This weekend was one of the best Pocono weekends I've ever watched, maybe the best ever, and I think Pocono is the hottest ticket on the schedule.
Okay, for mine, I'm going to make the counter argument for AJ Allmendinger. Now, I had said earlier, I was on Twitter, I had tweeted earlier today, I was confused. You're minus 17 and you're going to forfeit not only practice, but qualifying at Richmond in the Cup Series, and also like giving away the chance to get, to get some very valuable stage points to race at Road America in Xfinity. What are you doing? But then I realized something. We have 2 more road courses left on the schedule. Perhaps AJ Allmendinger just wants, to get his road course skills warmed up a tad right before that final stretch of 2 road course races at both Indianapolis and Watkins Glen. So, you know what? And also, when you look at it too, AJ Allmendinger is typically not the best driver at Richmond anyway. So, you know what? It's not like, so maybe he wasn't in the running for stage points, but you know what? At the very least, he is going to get some road course time and be ready to take one of those playoff spots on one of the road courses. We'll see if it works out. But yeah. So I'm going to put up the poll who had the hottest take. And fellas, we are not even 10 minutes in, but already well over 300 people watching, but only 62 likes. Make sure to lick the like button, everybody. And yeah, I figured we get some people tuning in early because we have a lot to discuss, man. I remember the good old days when, you had a typical Pocono race. Nothing happened. Guys like Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, they would just run away with the victory, right? Well, like Jared said, it's a whole new day. It's a whole new day, man, because now Pocono is, if you don't agree it's the hottest ticket, it's for sure one of the hottest tickets. We had a first sellout at that track and for the Cup Series since 2010. Wow, unbelievable. And you love to see it. And I was able to watch the race on the airplane. You're about to see some baseball highlights later. Yeah, you'll get it later on. But yeah, so on the way home, I was able to watch it. Yeah, I was able to watch it on the plane. And I was, look, for Pocono standards, you know what you're getting. But man, towards the end, it was just crazy. But you know what? I'm going to start us off and I'm going to rotate with, I'm going to do my best to rotate who I'm going to choose first for different topics tonight. But Eric, you're the big dog out of the 4 of us. So start us off.
Vertically speaking.
Yeah. All around, right? All around. So start us off, man. Just, what'd you think of the Pocono race? And then we will get into some of the controversies as well.
Okay. I'll wait before I get into the controversy. I too was out of town actually, so I was watching this race largely on my smartphone device, my mobile phone. But it was fantastic. The action felt bigger than when I watched on a 70-inch TV growing up. Watching old Pocono races. Yeah, Pocono used to be 2 dates, and it used to sort of bookend what I consider to be the driest portion of the NASCAR schedule. You'd go to Pocono, and then typically you had like Sonoma. Okay, you'd have New Hampshire, Daytona. 4th of July was like the little oasis there in the middle of the desert. That was fun. But then you had another Pocono race like a month and a half later. It's too much Pocono too soon, and Pocono never produced the greatest racing. But you guys are right to echo what you're saying. 2 years of the next gen, 2 great Pocono races with controversy. We'll get into the controversy in a moment, but I loved it. It was hard to pass, as Pocono typically is, but there were enough, drivers spinning out, ruffling each other's feathers, getting sideways, that we had restarts. We had opportunities for pit strategy to play out. I will say, I know some of you guys will probably agree with me on this. I think Pocono can be added to the list of tracks that stage yellows should be dropped. Obviously, still need stage points, still need to reward them, but I would vote in favor of getting rid of the stage cautions. It effectively ruined Daniel Suarez and Joey Logano's day. Like, Suarez was between a rock and a hard place. He had to stay out and get those stage points. Logano, you're not going to give up a free playoff point, but then it put them in 25th, and they didn't deserve to be in 25th on that restart, and it cost them the race. So I don't. That's not the kind of gamble or strategy I really like. It's way too artificial in my opinion. So I would change that format going forward.
Who wants to go next?
Man, I see the thing that for this whole weekend that really just surprised me was, yes, it was hard to pass. I think that's a staple of Pocono. And just because it's hard to pass doesn't mean it's a bad race. And I do think it would have, through the middle of the race, been better without the stage yellows, just because strategy, a lot of comers and goers, the longer runs, stuff like that. But I mean, I got to say, I'm looking at the finishing order right now. And yeah, I get it. We had late race restarts. Some stuff got shuffled up. But man, Toyota, like even with how good of a race it was and the back and forth and all, Toyota had 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. And if it wasn't for some little troubles during the race, I think Bubba Wallace would have been a lot closer to them too. But the lowest finishing Toyota in this race was 11th. That is, like, we're going to a track this weekend in Richmond that people are like, this is Toyota's playground. This past weekend, this was Toyota's playground. And I got to say, I'm incredibly impressed by how, especially JGR in particular, has turned it on later in the regular season. Because I think, I'd say it's fair to say, first half of the regular season through the Coke 600, it was kind of a toss-up. We talked about the Hendrick guys a lot, but we also talked about the Penske guys. And, we'd have like Ross Chastain thrown in there. Toyota right now, as they're running, and this past weekend proved it too, with how racy it was, and they still all finished up there. Toyota to me is proving to be the manufacturer favorite. Maybe not the driver favorite. I know Truex is the one we're leaning towards now, but manufacturer-wise, Toyota looks the strongest.
Well, yeah, even we were talking about this a little bit last week. We mentioned that this could be where Ty Gibbs could step up a little bit, because now we've reached a point where technically, because of last year, he's had now a year of experience behind the wheel of a Cup car at this point. And going back to this track, he actually put together his best flag-to-flag run in a Cup car he's had in his entire career. He ended up finishing fifth in this one, I think.
Yeah,
so
he got top 5. Yeah.
So Ty Gibbs, now that he's had a year of experience in this car, I think we're going to start seeing a few better runs for him like this. And this definitely proved, Toyota's gaining speed and he's gaining confidence, and we're starting to see him, kind of be up there a little bit.
Yeah, he was one of the most consistent guys up front throughout the day. I mean, also, at the beginning, William Byron was looking really good, and then we're gonna talk about him in a little bit with another driver, but Larson spitting out and still being able to come back, and still contend for the win towards the end. That's awesome. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you talk about those Hendrick guys. I gotta, give credit, not necessarily to the driver, but the pit crew, the 48. They were at some points, I think I noticed they were like 10th or something like that, but then they come out like right behind Truex after pit stops. They were getting him out in good time.
But then what happened?
Well, then some blue and neon bulldozer come through.
I mean, on the replay, yeah, it did. He didn't touch him on the replay.
He didn't touch him, but definitely, I feel like his car, it did that little aero bubble thing.
Yeah, just one of those deals. But speaking of the aero bubbles too, I mean, we're talking about Larson here, but the main story though, and it's in the title, Hamlin versus Larson there. So I want to say, what was it? With less than 10 laps to go, I believe. I want to say that, racing for the win there. A similar, basically the same move that Hamlin did on Chastain a year ago. Basically forces Larson up there, putting him in a very compromising decision where he has to either back out of it or stay, or, keep your foot in it, but unfortunately hit the wall there too. So what happened there after that hit, then you saw Truex and Harvick sort of racing there. It made for some very exciting racing. But then Larson unfortunately fell out of contention soon after that. And then the radio exchanges were very interesting because Danny Hamlin on his radio, his crew chief was saying, look, I know that's your best friend, but he should know, like, I mean, does he know the way he races people? And then Cliff Daniels to Larson was like, oh, you should hear all the shit they're talking, bro. Like, hey, don't say nothing on the radio. I'll tell you afterwards. Don't say nothing, though. Don't say a word. And of course, Hamlin goes on to win. And the post-race comments from Larson basically saying, like, oh, he's always right. He's never wrong. So
I know it's not related, but no one had better radio sweetheart than Joey Logano this weekend, though.
Oh yeah. We'll get to it. Yeah, we'll get to it for sure. Let's stay on. Let's talk about Hamlin and Larson first. Jarrett, I'm gonna start off with you, man. Just, I mean, where do you stand on this whole deal too? I mean, like, should Larson start racing Hamlin differently here, or and also, like, what do you think about Hamlin finally, sort of embracing this heel role a lot more than usual?
All right, those are some big questions. Going on the Larson part first, I think Larson should race more aggressively. I think while he is probably pound for pound the most talented driver in the field, even in his Chip Ganassi days, especially, but we haven't seen as much with Hendrick. He can get walked over at times, and he just sort of, he'll say his comments, but he'll sort of just walk away, or he won't say anything a lot of the time, and he'll just, come back the next week or whatever. I think he should race Hamlin a lot more aggressively, a lot more like Hamlin raced him. As for Hamlin embracing the heel, he embraces it to a degree. And here's what I'm saying is, he complained forever about Ross Chastain's driving style, about how Chastain was plowing people over, was running them over, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? In a lot of those instances, he was right. I don't personally think what Denny did was awful in the sense of, like, what Chase did to him or what Bubba did to Larson. It's not anywhere near that. But if Denny's going to race like that, one, he needs to just understand, like, you're a hypocrite in this instance. It doesn't mean you're wrong in this. You might have just been a hypocrite from what you said before. But it's just, he doesn't own it. No one owns anything. And NASCAR did put the drivers, I think, in a bit of a box with this because of, you can't admit anything. But at least from what they would think. But I think this is something where it's like, yeah, I raced him hard. I touched him. Like, if you notice, his story's been changing all week. It went from I didn't touch him to maybe we touched a little to there's not even a dent in the car we touched. Like, you touched him. Admit it. It's what happened. Own up to it. And just be the villain. Because he does a great job at it. I mean, you remember, was it last year when he got out of the car and he's just like, just own it, man. Piss him off. You knew that you pissed off all the fans when you parked all the way towards pit road instead of getting the checkered flag. So just go with it. Like, I personally, I don't care really either way. I like Denny as a person, as a personality. I don't care either way as a driver. If you ran someone over, especially a hero of the sport, someone a lot of fans like, just own it, man. Be like Kyle Busch.
Yeah. So I know I asked you those two main questions, but I wanted to ask you these questions before we move on. And also, Jarrett, you won the poll, so or the hottest take segment. So congrats. So I'll ask you this, Jarrett, and then I'll ask Eric and Danny this. So I don't know, like, do you think it was a dirty move? And you already answered the other question about Larson. Yeah. So,
I think it's borderline. Could he have given him more room? Yes. Did Larson deserve that? I don't think so, because unlike Chastain raced Denny way too hard for 6 months constantly. I mean, to the point where Denny and Chase put down their differences to go after him. Larson has more or less been just, the innocent bystander in two of them. Do I think Larson would have done the same? I mean, you did the same to Chastain at Darlington. People forget when that wreck with Truex happened. He did the exact same thing to Chastain. So I'm not going to say that Larson is innocent by any means of doing something like this. It's just, again, I think it's the context of it. If Denny is going to preach about driver etiquette, he needs to set an example, and that is probably the poorest example he could set.
All right, Danny, we'll start with you. Do you think? Did you think it was a dirty move, and do you think Kyle Larson should race him differently?
Kyle Larson should definitely race him differently. But do I think it was dirty per se? he didn't have to push it as much, but he didn't also just run him straight into the wall. He definitely didn't give him enough room, but also, I don't know. I don't think it's dirty per se, but it definitely wasn't cool. Things aren't good between them, and he shouldn't expect any slack from Larson if he's not going to give him any slack.
Eric?
I think it was dirty. I don't like, to me, if you're going to, I get putting someone in a compromised position, but in the case of this instant, Larson had the lead. Hamlin was like this far behind, I'm showing my hands, this far behind him, throttles up in the middle of the corner, and basically slides up into a space that Kyle Larson, the leader, already occupied. And he made contact with him, which ultimately sent Larson into the wall. Like, he made a move that Kyle Larson had no fair chance to defend. It's not on Kyle Larson to lift. That's not the onus should not be on Larson to lift there. Hamlin, the guy who does not have the spot, is the one who's supposed to lift. So it was a dirty move. But like you guys said, Larson has done the same thing in the past. A lot of drivers have done the same thing in the past. It's just kind of how you race with this car. So I don't hate the move. I certainly wouldn't go out afterwards and talk about how, there's nothing wrong with it. That's not true. My concern is that I'm not convinced Hamlin believes there was anything wrong with that move. And if Larson were to do the same thing back to him in the next couple weeks, I'm not convinced Hamlin wouldn't lose his mind. Like, Hamlin, and granted, what happened at Martinsville between him and Bowman was a little bit different. I think Bowman, just missed the corner, just completely spun him out. But in both cases, Larson's day was ruined at Pocono. Hamlin's day was ruined at Martinsville when they both had a good shot at the win. And we saw how Hamlin reacted at Martinsville. He was not happy that he got roughed up for a win. And so I'd like to think that if Larson gets him back in the next couple of weeks, Hamlin would be the bigger man and say, yeah, okay, I used him up a little at Pocono. Fair enough that he got me back here. But I don't know. Denny Hamlin has never really been consistent on anything. So I don't know how Hamlin's going to react to that kind of retaliation. So we'll see. If I was a race car driver, I would do everything in my power to not race that way. But, Martin Truex Jr. said it afterwards. He's the kind of guy who races clean. Maybe that's why Hamlin won and Truex did not. That's, he's got a point.
But I'll say this. If I'm Larson, don't get him back this week. Don't get him back in the next 5 weeks.
I was about to ask you this, and just answer as quickly as possible. I mean, when's the best time to get for Larson to get him back? I mean, like, does he get? Yeah, so basically in the playoffs.
No, not just in the playoffs. When it matters most. When it matters most is like you don't. And I said this on my post race stream. You don't have to wreck him. It could even be Talladega. You could just leave him out to dry with like 3 to go when he tries to make a move. Let him fall back in third.
If even that's kind of lighter, but. Make his entire life heck for the playoffs. Like, if we're at Bristol, don't give him any room there.
Yeah, and aren't they?
To Kevin Harvick.
Yeah. And the funniest part about this, aren't they like good friends too? Like, isn't that the funny part?
Supposedly.
Yeah. So it's very, very interesting.
Well, I think it was Dale Jr. talking about it. It's like, you can be friends with somebody and hate their ass on the track.
Yeah. I mean, well, Gordon and Earnhardt, business wise, they got along great and were pretty good friends, but when they were driving, they hated each other.
Yeah, absolutely. But the chat seems to agree with y'all. 77% are saying Hamlin's move was dirty, so they've established that already.
I just think if I using the word dirty, it's like like using the word hate. It's a very strong word, but I would say it slightly crossed the line of what I would consider to be fair but hard racing versus unfair hard racing. I think it was more unfair than fair. That's why I say dirty.
Got you. So yeah, so you would think so. Like, if that were the only controversy, that'd be a lot to to digest. But man, we're just getting started here because this Pocono race. Oh my gosh, man!
Didn't last week I was like, when's Ryan Preece gonna stand up for himself?
He did say that.
Yeah, he did finally. He finally did it because, okay, so we can kind of talk about 2 different topics, I guess, with this. We can talk about the Ryan Preece versus LaJoie incident and what your guys' thoughts were on the whole caution ordeal. So we had Preece versus LaJoie. Ryan Preece apparently got turned by LaJoie with 2 laps to go, coming to the white flag. This was coming off of turn 2, I believe.
Yeah,
so yeah,
coming off the tunnel turn.
So yeah, off the tunnel turn, and unfortunately, Preece could not get the car refired. It was looking like it was rolling for a little bit, but then it just stalled out. And this is where the other topic comes in, because coming to the line, the flagman, at first, he's waving the yellow, but then quickly rescinded it and brought the white out before Hamlin hit the line. So that definitely tells me that definitely the race control wanted to try and get the race wanted to try and get the race over with. But unfortunately, Priest could not get the car started. Therefore, the caution came out.
If that flagman already had that yellow flag in his hand and out, then there should have been no taking it back.
Yeah, so
the flag doesn't set the race though, or the caution. Because there's been times where the flag will come out after the light, or the light will come out. I mean, we had this whole deal in 2015 at Talladega to end the race where he's not throwing the caution. Junior's in the lead, and it's like, well, the light was on. So I guess if I want to, I'll just jump into this. Like for me, I just wish NASCAR would have said, hey, we thought he'd keep rolling. Let it. We told him to let it keep going. The flagman jumped it or whatever, or just come out and say, oh, we screwed up. Because my thing is, it's a lose-lose in my opinion. Because if they throw the caution, people are thinking that they're doing it all for entertainment to get a finish in. They don't throw the caution, and he sits there, and well, then we see what happened on Sunday. I still kind of lean towards, especially after all the caution issues they've had, and they've cleaned it up a lot in the last year or so. I still lean towards playing it safe, just because he did spin across the track in front of cars. It's not something I'm gonna lose sleep over compared to any other kind of controversy. But if I guess taking it back, I would have rather them bit the bullet and ride one more attempt at it just to be safe. Because he was sitting there, and they didn't throw the caution until the leaders were damn near in the tunnel turn, which is, even in my opinion, even more dangerous.
Yeah, they were trying their best because, look, I'll say this, and shout out to IDK player. He's really changed my perspective on the whole officiating calls deal. And I know it's just iRacing, but if there's a single car spin, he never calls a caution. And I feel like, NASCAR is starting to be, a lot more similar and stuff. But
I'll tell you what, you can't win, even in iRacing, you cannot win as somebody calling a caution as a race official. It sucks.
No, yeah. So basically it's a lose-lose with this one. I thought they made the right call because, obviously Priest was there and stuff. And and again, they probably thought that Priest was eventually going to get refired and, just, coast on to the pit area, but it never happened. So, Eric, what were your thoughts on that whole deal?
I think similar to Jarrett, honestly, I think they probably should have thrown the caution when he went spinning, because they were running pretty far in the back, but he did spin in front of half a dozen cars. And yeah, he was off track out of the groove pretty quickly, but they probably should have thrown a yellow. But we've seen this happen. I think you guys said more so this year than I feel like in years past. They've started to let those overtime or final restart yellows. They've held it. They've let them play a little bit more than maybe in years past. And so I don't hate it. I think the no caution call was all right. I get, like Jared said, I'm not really going to lose sleep over it. They had to throw the caution on the last lap because for some reason his car just didn't go. He was stalled out. But it's it is what it is. People are really angry about it. I think they were more upset with how Hamlin raced Larson. Like the boos in the crowd, I think were because Hamlin won more so than how NASCAR called it. But maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't there. So.
It reminds me of Jeff Burton. Jeff Burton's like, guys, you got to understand at home, NASCAR made the right call. And then you hear Dale Jr. go, I don't think that's what they're mad about there, buddy.
Yeah,
I would agree with Dale Jr.
Damn.
Oh no, I think they pretty much said it all. At first, I was like, I don't know if they're booing Hamlin or the call. I was kind of mad about the call, but then I was like, no, they're definitely mad at Hamlin about this.
Yeah, I love that. I don't think that's what they're mad about there, buddy.
Give Chase Elliott his credit for being, voted NASCAR's most popular driver. But Kyle Larson is pretty dang popular, and they will let you know when they've had enough of it.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So that was a bit of a controversy, and according to the chat, 60% believe it's a bad call, but at least 40% think it's a good call. So still debatable.
I think we agree that they probably should have thrown the caution, but I'm not angry they didn't. I guess is the way I feel about it.
Right, and then, of course, the whole post-race thing. And shout out to NASCAR for putting cameras everywhere, because now we can't miss a beat. Because afterwards, Ryan Preece just doesn't walk. He runs over to Corey LaJoy and stuff. It's like, you piece of shit. You piece of bleep. You piece of shit. Like, you're a piece of... And Oh my gosh! And then freaking LaJoy's trying to get out and stuff, and
No, it's
it's
it's the way LaJoy justified it. I loved.
Oh wait, how did he just? Oh wait, hold on. What did he say? I didn't hear what he said.
He was protecting his eyes. He said in the one clip.
Oh,
He's like, I put my visor down just in case you want to go.
That's funny. That's great. At least you can find humor in it.
Gosh, Spencer in the chat says battle of mid.
Pretty much. Yeah, because
they were literally battling for 20th place. So middle of the pack.
Hey, that wasn't the only mid guy who wanted to battle that day.
Oh gosh, yeah. Again, so much controversy, bro. We got so much controversy that happened. So Austin Dillon's had a pretty tough year. I mean, give him credit. He brought Kyle Busch in, but now Kyle Busch is, clearly the top guy.
He's always being upstaged by the 8 car.
Yeah.
Give Austin Dillon Executive of the Year honors.
Yeah.
No,
now
Austin Dillon's season highlight is being overshadowed.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's. And he can't catch a break, man. And look, I'm not one of these fans that's like, oh, Austin Dillon sucks. He really doesn't. I mean, I know he only has 3 career wins, but he's made the playoffs multiple, like 5 times, I think. So he's not terrible, but he's been awful this year, though, to say the least. And it continued when Tyler Reddick, just punted him, basically entering turn 1.
Did he though?
But then. Wait, I don't know. It looked like that, at least from the replay I saw. Or did he turn down on him? Yeah,
I think it was a little bit of both. That's the way I saw it. A little bit of both. I don't know.
Okay, then we can just say a little bit of both then. But afterwards, as they were coming back around, Austin Dillon's walking over, back on the racing surface, and then proceeds to throw his helmet and completely miss the 45. Now, I'll say this. If you saw my swinging over the weekend, I definitely would have swung at that one for sure. But I missed that one. But
It makes you appreciate like Tony Stewart in 2012, the strike he threw that nailed Kenseth straight on the
like that was precise. That was precise.
It makes you respect that.
It looks a lot harder. It looks a lot harder than you would think too.
I don't want to. I'm not going to defend the throw. It was completely off. It was as bad as his season has been. But
it was a Carly Rae Jepsen first pitch type throw.
he was throwing uphill. I know Pocono's a flat track, but it is like. It is harder to throw uphill. But honestly, I think that
that's the symbolic. That's a symbol. That's a symbol of his 2023 season, I'd say.
It's an expensive throw too. These helmets are like at least a few $1,000. At least $3,000 or $4,000.
Dillon's fine. He's got it.
I'm just saying,
dude. This would have been the perfect season for his crappy reality show.
Oh, I know, dude. Yeah,
this would have been
great. Yeah, this would have been great. No. I love Danny Delivers tweets all the time, but the one that was my favorite over the weekend was it's like bro's mad that his show got canceled. Clearly mad his show got canceled.
Robbie Gordon, wherever you are, we salute you for your helmet throw.
Seriously, yeah, but hey, man, it's been a tough year for Dillon. I mean, it's understandable that he's frustrated. I mean, like I remember when Cendric had that deal at Gateway, he was immediately blaming him and stuff, and I don't know, like all the wrecks clearly haven't been his fault, but still, like, he's running in the back and he's just been way, way off this year, unfortunately. So we'll see if he turns it around.
Awful, more.
Yeah. But the next guy, this was funny. This is clearly the greatest soundbite of his career. Joey Logano. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Eric, you had mentioned him earlier. So what was the whole deal with him in stage 1? I didn't watch the race on the plane until the beginning of stage 2. So you said there was some strategy call that put him in the back?
He won stage 1, so he pitted after the stage and restarted, mid-pack somewhere. And then I don't remember what exactly. It was just a weird restart. Guys going for different lanes. They fan out and he kind of just gets clipped and ends up spinning out. And Suarez also got spun out on that same wreck. I think it was kind of 2 separate incidents though. But,
okay.
But that ended his race. And then he had a bunch of flat tires and couldn't drive back. And you guys also heard the clip of him just yelling at the. When I first heard the clip, I thought for a second because again I was watching on my phone. So I then closed out of the race for a few minutes, went to Twitter and saw that clip, and I thought it was him yelling at his pit crew at first, and I thought, man, why he's really chewing out his pit crew? Like, that's not great for morale. That's not good. And then I looked again. I'm like, oh no, that's the safety workers. He's mad at how they're towing his car.
Well, no, he was mad because they weren't. Because and the funniest part to me, the most underrated part about that soundbite to me was he was young. He's like, hey, come here. And the official's like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Like he wants a toe back.
I love that. Hey, come here. And I just,
like, what do you want?
Like Joey Logano just yelling at you to come here, like snarling at you. It's not something I would have ever thought I'd see or hear.
And then he goes, you stupid sons of stupid. Oh man.
Well, I'm looking at the chat. And Starshine 5 in the chat says Joey got possessed by Gordon Ramsay for a few seconds.
Because look, I mean, Logano's like, I mean, we've seen him like, mad at other drivers and shit, but like, I don't think we've ever heard him like yell like that. Now, look, it's understandable because look, it's hot as hell in that race car. He just got taken out. He was running up front. He's frustrated. And he thought he would get an immediate tow as well. So like, I don't know. So for some people to say like, oh, he should have been nicer, blah blah blah. Like, dude, like it's the heat of the moment. Like, give the guy a break, man. Like, it's not like he said anything like personal. He's just like, yo, like get the damn tow thing. Like, let's
call them all stupid SOBs. I mean, I guess it's not personal, but it's ugly.
I don't know. Like, even though he said that, I still can't take him that serious, bro. I don't know why. It's just, maybe it's the voice. I don't know. Maybe it's just because like. Yeah, exactly. Like the face and shit. Like, I don't know. I even though he was like cussing at him, I was like, this is funny. Like, I don't know. I just couldn't take it serious. So. Joey. I wonder, is she gonna make another song? No.
No,
the explicit version.
That'll be a throwback song to be kind of like Alanis Morissette about Joey.
Oh man. But yeah, no. So that was so basically that pretty much all the controversy we had. Unless I'm missing anything. Is there anything else like that?
Just gotta talk about the playoff picture, I think.
Yeah, well, and really quick shout out to Pocono, like you talked about. They said it was like the biggest crowd in almost 15 years. So I went back to look at it because some people were saying there were only 50,000 there, and I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
What?
That doesn't seem right. So I went
back.
Include
the massive campgrounds, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Which, by the way, shout out to NASCAR man for an awesome tweet showing the difference between now and 2019. But I went back because of course I have all of it to look at the attendance for Pocono in 2010 because they said it was the largest in spring of 2010. And that race had 105,000 people at it, meaning if they said it was more than the fall one, that race had 100,000 at it. So,
but I thought NASCAR was dying though. I thought it was dead.
There'll be a reason next week to find out. There might be rain in the forecast for Richmond. It's NASCAR's fault.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I'm looking at this NASCAR, man. I don't know how I missed this on Sunday. You're right. It's like a truck series crowd on the left and a cup, like a heyday cup series crowd on the right. Difference between 2019 and 2023. That's insane.
Hey, but that what also makes a difference is because Pocono was one of those tracks that did. They lost one of their cup dates. So, hey, this is just one of those tracks that's benefiting from that. I mean, we've seen it all year, I feel like, with these tracks. I mean, New Hampshire and now Pocono. I mean, they're starting to benefit from this too. Yeah. So, you know what? Perhaps, we should have, some certain tracks need to have only one date. And definitely Pocono is one of them. And it's paying off. But yeah, so now to the playoffs. The playoff cut line. Pocono changed up the point differentials quite a bit. Now, as far as the cut line drivers having issues, Daniel Suarez wrecked along with Joey Logano on that insane restart. I think they were going like 6-7 wide, it looked like on the replay. Insane stuff. Unfortunately got collected. And Alex Bowman was on track to a potential top 5 finish, but then gets spun out. So
he hadn't had that good of a day in a long time. So.
Yeah. Danny, when was the last time he's had a top 5 this season? Do you remember? Or
I don't remember even.
Okay. So it's been forever. If he doesn't remember, it's been forever, unfortunately. But now it has changed up the playoff order. Well, not necessarily as much the playoff order, but the point differentials for sure. Now, Bubba Wallace has an even bigger gap now. He is plus 27 above the cut line in 15th. And all hail McDowell supremacy. Michael McDowell, 16th, straight up on points. He's plus 17 above the cut line. Below the cut line sits AJ Allmendinger, obviously minus 17. Now Daniel Suarez is minus 23 in 18th. In 19th, coming off of a stellar top 5. and a stellar pose, might I add. Ty Gibbs, minus 28, which, by the way, NASCAR deleted that tweet, by the way. I guess because getting roasted or something. I don't know. And then in 20th, Alex Bowman, minus 46. And finally, 21st is Chase Elliott, minus 56. Now, those are the guys who are within a race of points. The guys below them will obviously need a win at this point. But fellas, Eric, I'll start off with you, man. I just read off the playoff the playoff cut line situation. What are your thoughts on this, man? I mean, like, look, Bubba Wallace, he has a much bigger gap, but we could get potentially get a new winner here, though. So
he could, yeah. I think, new winners aside, which we have road courses and Daytona coming up, anything's possible. But Bubba Wallace is in a great spot, considering, he's done well at the tracks he needs to do well at. He's got Richmond this weekend, which is good for Toyota, and he's got Michigan in a couple weeks, which I think should be good for him. But he needs to pad points because there's also Watkins Glen and Indianapolis, where I don't expect much from Bubba. So plus 27 for him, I'm feeling a little bit better. McDowell versus Allmendinger for that final spot. Yeah, there's a 17-point gap, but they're both very similar. They're both great road course racers. Allmendinger is probably a little bit better, but McDowell's a better, kind of more well-rounded driver. He finished 6th at Richmond earlier this year. That's coming up this weekend. So I think those two will be really interesting. If there's no new winners, and we're just talking about who can get some top 5s, top 10s, get points, Allmendinger versus McDowell for that final spot will be very interesting. Daniel Suarez minus 23 obviously is a big disappointment. He was -1, gets stuck back in traffic there, gets caught up in that wreck. Just a bad break. I mean, you make your own luck. They made the strategy. They made them, they put themselves back there, I suppose. But gosh, you hate to see yourself get taken out. Ty Gibbs, he's minus 28. He's a rookie. I don't expect him to charge forward and make the playoffs, but he did just get his first top 5, so anything's possible. And then Bowman, Elliott, I think they need to win. And I don't think Bowman wins a race. That Pocono speed was the best speed he's had probably since the first month of the season. But, I got to see him do it twice before I'm a true believer. Chase Elliott only gained like 4 points on the cut line. I think they are now in must-win territory. Yeah, I just kind of rattled through everybody there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal everyone.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. I want everybody to do that. Yeah, go for it.
You just handled it all. We're done.
See you next week.
Danny, what do you think, though? What are your thoughts on it?
No, back to what Eric said. I think that was the best speed that Alex Bowman's had all season. I think Michigan could be one that's good. Yeah, I know he's won at Richmond, but I didn't realize like his stats are actually pretty good for Richmond. He's got a pole here before. He's got like 3 top 10s in the last 5 races. So this is a good track for him statistically, but we'll see what happens with him. Chase Elliott still got, has a chance on road course. I think Watkins Glen has definitely got to be circled under radar right now. Ty Gibbs showing improvement. Suarez has continued to drop off, in my opinion. And then AJ, I'm not so sure, what his focus is right now. Obviously, not doing the practice and stuff has me a little concerned about him. But I'm starting to feel like who we have in could be all that we have unless we get a Elliott winning at Watkins Glen or something. But props to Michael McDowell. I thought he was going to be just hanging on there, but he continues to make that gap grow a little bit.
Yep. Jared?
Well, for what it matters, and it probably won't because he's pretty much insured in already, just for the 3 above, Kevin Harvick could lock in by like halfway through the Michigan race. I just want to say that. And I believe for Indianapolis could lock in the other 2, Butcher and Keselowski. So even unless we have a ton of winners, but I don't think we're gonna. When it comes to the cut line, though, for me, I think it's a battle for 15. I think that right now Bubba is in a really good place, being 10 points above McDowell. From there, I will say Allmendinger. I don't think Watkins Glen is the one to look ahead to. I think Indy is his one big shot at a win, and that's a crapshoot. I think that's more of a crapshoot than Daytona at this point, because at least at Daytona you have a fast enough car, you work together with people, you can stay out of trouble for the most part.
Because Indy, we got SVG coming back, and he could go 2 for 2.
Yeah. Well, and that turn 1. Joey Logano can come from 4 rows back and take you out. So I'm sorry. Like he's going to have a driver. I'm not going to let that slide away. But When I look at it right now, I mean, obviously it's a must win just to ensure and all that, but I would say Suarez on down, I think, is must win. I think Allmendinger, not yet, just because he's close enough, just in case. But it's just the 34 and the 23 are doing just enough right now. And, we'll rip on Bubba Wallace's road course prowess, but didn't he get a top 5 in Indy last year?
He did. Yeah. A lot of chaos happened, but he still got it.
You mentioned Suarez. I feel like Trackhouse as a whole has gone down since that Nashville win for Ross. Because where's Ross been these last few weeks?
Yeah.
Chilling.
Yeah. I mean, really, outside the Nashville win, yeah, he's just been chilling, I feel like. Yeah, for sure. And I asked the chat, they thought we would get a brand new winner below the cut line right now. 75% of them agreed. And then now I asked them a new question. Do Bubba and McDowell make it in? And 53% are saying, yeah, they feel like right now it'll stay as is. I'm shocked. Now, 46% are saying no.
If you had to ask me right now, I do think so. And I'll say this. I don't think Chase will be bad at Watkins Glen. But Chase is not the king of the road courses in the next gen. He's not at this point. Like, has he won a road course race in the next gen? I think he could win one this year. But unless I'm remembering it wrong, it's been a long time since he's won on a road course. And there's plenty of really good road course drivers too. So I know he could have won last year. I know he will be one of the favorites, but this is not a slam dunk the way it used to be.
Chase Elliott's. I'm sorry, I thought you finished. My bad. Chase Elliott's last road course win was Road America 2021. We were there.
Mm-hmm. We were at his last win. Wow, his last road course win.
But you're right. He was the dominant car at Watkins Glen last year and got beat in the last restart.
But it's not a done deal. I see all these people are like, we still got Watkins Glen and Daytona. I'm like, yeah, but there's some pretty darn good drivers that are going to be in the field at road course race. I know Chase should be one of the favorites, but he's not the absolute favorite. And if he does not win that, and you're hoping Daytona is your way in. Just ask Jimmy Johnson how that really works.
Right. But Eric, I mean, like the way it is now, I mean, do you think Bubba and McDowell, like they're just going to hold 15th and 16th the rest of the way?
Man, so I think Bubba has the speed to get in, and I do, I worry about the road courses, but I think he'll be fine. I think he's padded his lead enough. McDowell is a better driver than Bubba Wallace right now. They just don't make the same, like he doesn't have the same speed as Bubba, but it doesn't make seemingly as many mistakes. But I still believe Chase Elliott's going to win Watkins Glen or Daytona. I'm going to say I think he wins until Watkins Glen is over. I'm going to say that Chase Elliott still has a slightly better chance of making the playoffs than missing at this point. So right now I'd lean towards Bubba and Chase getting those last two spots. But that's why I said if Elliott doesn't win Watkins Glen, it'll be really interesting. Like we need to watch Allmendinger versus McDowell because that is a very interesting battle between two very similar drivers and cars.
Danny?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go for it.
Yeah, right. I'm kind of like Eric. I think Elliott's the only one that has a feasible, chance of winning a race. I don't see AJ doing it this year. Suarez, I think, will win a race, but I don't know if it'll be I don't know if it'll be before the playoffs. And I'm not convinced that Gibbs or Bowman gets a win this year.
Okay.
With Chase, for me, it's just I can't put my finger on it because statistically he's been good. And he's gotten good finishes, maybe not gotten the stage points. I can't put my finger on what it is, but there's something just a little bit off. And I know he had the injury. I know the season's a weird one, but I don't think that necessarily would affect the performance into the summer. I don't know what it is. And I've seen other Elliott fans say it. I know we have people saying like fire Alan Gustafson. No,
that's too much.
The driver I'm really watching when it comes to how they're going to react again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it every week till he's locked in. Bubba Wallace going through the pressure cooker of making it in, having the spot, and having now to defend against I'd say some still pretty good drivers. I think Ty Gibbs is only going to get better. I think that Michael McDowell, like Eric was saying, I think out of those drivers we talk about so far has been the best overall driver for what he's been given this year. And 27 points one with a win can go down to 10 points. And then we saw this weekend with Daniel Suarez can go to out of the top 16. So I'm going to be very interested to watch Bubba Wallace and how he responds to this, because if he responds well and excels in this kind of situation, I think it's a growth as a driver we're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's year 3. Got to make the playoffs eventually. And the chat seems to think he will, because I asked them the question, do Bubba and McDowell make it in? 59% of y'all say yes. 41% say no. So, yeah. Very extremely debatable for sure, but we'll have to wait and see. Definitely one of the best playoff cut line races we've had in quite some time for sure. Man, we'll see what happens. I mean, just the fact that half of Hendrick Motorsports is still below the playoff cut line, that wasn't on the bingo card for sure. So definitely threw some of our playoff predictions for a loop, unfortunately. But we'll go over those once the playoffs begin. But now, moving on, let's go over the TV ratings. And fellas, oh my goodness. Talk about, on the up and up, man. At the beginning of the season, we were like, hey, what's going on here? We had the Chase Elliott injury, and it was looking like the TV ratings were on the rocks. But now, we're, well into the summer stretch, and they're starting to go up for certain tracks. And Pocono was really eye-opening. So the rating was a 1.6 rating with just a little over 2.8 million viewers, and the ratings were up 2.5%, while the viewership was up 8%. And then 23% of the audience was in the key demographic, and was the most watched Pocono race in 6 years, since 2017. And we all know that was Junior's farewell season. So when we go back to, ratings as far as 2017, that's a major W in my opinion. So I don't know. Just I guess we can briefly talk about it. Just Eric, I mean, what do you think what do you think the reason is for the ratings resurgence we've started to see?
I don't know. That's a tough question. I think the racing has just been good consistently. I think maybe some of this is the post-Chicago effect. We've had a lot of rain and delays and postponements the last few weeks. So we finally had a race run as scheduled, no weather concerns. I think that helps as well. The 23% in the key demo, that being a few percentage points higher than usual, is eye-opening to me. I also think NBC just gets credit for this. I mean, like by the end of Fox's portion of the schedule, I was like, Fox is fine. They're decent. They're okay. I don't know what it is. I feel like I just one day need to just sit back and study for a weekend or a week at like the difference between the two, because NBC I just like it more. It's just way better. The NBC broadcast is far and away better than Fox's, and I can't entirely pin down why. Like, I like Mike Joy more than Rick Allen, and that's a huge component. Yet the NBC broadcast is just way better. They tell the story better. The tone is way better. The intensity is there. I don't know what it is. Maybe viewers are finally just saying, hey, there's a difference between Fox and NBC, and we can tell.
It's clearly because of Jeff Burton. Has to be.
Yeah.
Oh, because of Jeff. But I mean, NBC has a way of just keeping you sucked in. I mean, for Pocono, obviously there were parts of the race where you couldn't pass. It was straight up single file. But the entire time, the way they present it, the way they talk about it, just like, oh, I can't leave. Like something might happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I think that's one of the major reasons, I think, too.
I think that's part of it. And I think part of it, too, even though the last two races, I would say Pocono, even with how good I think it has been, is still not seen as a great sell, a great ticket, a great watch yet. Going to take a little longer for that reputation to build up more. Same with New Hampshire, but you look at the 3 races before: Nashville as the premiere on Big NBC, Chicago, and then a super speedway. I think the opening 3 weeks of the schedule, because while I will say viewers a lot of times, no matter the platform, will not pay attention as much when like you put it right in front of them. This is this day, unless it's all over the place all the time. But those 3 races, I think, all 3 of them were viewed as very good races. I would say probably all 3 of them were very good races. All 3 of them had pretty good viewership for what they were dealt with. All 3 of them had excellent coverage, because I think NBC came in with a game plan. They knew if you knock these 3 out of the park right away, it's a system reset. Because we see at the start of the year, if you screw up at the Daytona 500, whether it's weather or bad coverage, the entire first half of the season is screwed. And you saw it this year. I think NBC is taking a bit of a different approach And I think it's working. I think it's working because you have it set up 3 big markets right off the bat, 3 interesting different tracks on big NBC, and then USA. Your first USA race is a super speedway race at a track that has been bringing in good ratings for the most part. I think that this is just a network that has done their homework. That's what I think it is.
The plan was simple. Don't beat Fox Sports. There you go. All right. 1, 2, 3, NBC. There you go. The simple game plan. But Danny, any final thoughts on that or no? Yeah.
No, NBC's killing it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons. And hopefully someday, Lord willing, that hopefully NBC gets the Daytona 500, the Speed Week coverage. Hopefully, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. We'll see.
Be hopeful, but I'm not. Yeah. I'm not banking on it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's one portion of the ratings we just discussed. But the other portion, our own rating segment. Up next, we have the poll, the famous iceberg poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. For this poll, I think without question, this definitely the most positive Pocono race, I think, for sure. 22% of y'all thought this was a great race. 54% thought it was good, leaving the net positivity at 76%. 15% of y'all thought this was average. 4% thought it was below average, and 6% thought it was bad, leaving it at a 10% net negative. So very interesting poll. But let's go to the comments, Jared. What did the fans have to say?
Well, the first comment was from Spencer Purcell. Was it positive, negative, or meme?
I'll say positive meme.
Meme.
One word to describe this race: chaos.
There you go. Eric's favorite word. That's just
a meme. It's not a positive meme. That's kind of like a negative meme.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But yeah, that's Eric's kryptonite for sure. That word.
Well, looking at the comments, top rated ones here. First one's from Will England, who said, that was the most temper-filled Pocono race I've ever seen. Looked like a Bristol race.
It did. Helmet throw.
Joshua Cross says it was a good race. As a Larson fan, I'm a bit disappointed, but looking forward to the playoffs. Small note, I think that may be the most angry I've ever seen Larson.
See, that sounds like a base Larson fan. He was like, hey, it is what it is. It sucks, but hey, just move on. I like that.
Isaac here. Hamlin not pissing off HMS drivers. Challenge, impossible. And then he put 2 edits. Edit 1, man, Eric's parody aged like wine. And then the next edit was, JJ, what's our motto here at Hendrick Motorsports? Byron, stay away from the 11 car.
Yeah, Eric, it's crazy how that's remained relevant.
Yeah, that was a good impression, Jerry. That was a good one. That was very, very well done.
I've seen that clip about 20 times.
So many times.
It does come up in my replies quite. Yeah, I'm glad it holds up. That's funny.
Merck says Ty Gibbs was very impressive today. First top 5 in his career and got closer to the cut line, and he kept it cleaner than most today. Yeah. Kept it cleaner than all of his teammates.
Yeah.
Need for Speed says the best race I've ever seen in person. The only bad thing about it was the officiating at the end. 9 out of 10.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so close to perfect with the officiating errors. So.
Willie B Nation says was an epic race. Even more crazy being there in person to see it all.
That's awesome.
Let's see what else we got here. A little further down. Rick says, man, the drama, the intrigue, the speed. What more can you ask for?
Gosh, Jesus.
So positive.
I'm almost blushing how gushing these reviews are.
Yeah. For Pocono.
Eric Hoffman says 2022 Pocono Ally 400 Bowman Rex. 2022 M&M's Fan Appreciation 400 Bush DQ'd. 2023 High Point 400 Briscoe Rex. I'm sensing a theme here.
Yes, indeed.
Travis here says, I was at the IndyCar race and I heard this race was crazy. Denny driving like a 0-year-old and Dillon airballs his helmet. Yeah, I will say this. I feel like we could have hit the 3 million mark on viewership if it wasn't head-to-head at the start with IndyCar.
Oh, yeah. IndyCar was on NBC.
NBC, you have both of them. Stop putting them head-to-head like this.
Yeah, gotta reschedule that. Yeah, but they had an uptick in viewership too. Yeah, F1's was down.
31%.
Yeah, and then F1's down. So yeah,
I might make a video on the F1 American bubble.
yeah.
Let's go down to the gutter comments. How about that?
Oh, we got to find some negative ones
There's
for
a
Pocono.
ton of comments, guys. I'm serious. Like
Ooh.
when I looked an hour after I put this up, there was like almost 500 comments.
I don't get why there was nothing to talk about in this race.
Oh, we got some good ones here. And I can read them all, I think. So Lori and Jason Flores. Wow, a shared account. How about that? Total clown show. Why pass them when you can crash them? Used to be talent in these cars, not so much anymore.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. It's the next shit. It takes talent. Come on.
Master Coral says, still too long, boring. Apparently he was sharing that brain cell with Lori and Jason. I'm kidding. Jonah has the bottom one here. Mediocre race. Fitting for the mediocre track. Horrible call at the end to wait a lap and a half to throw the yellow. Hendrick fans can cry a river, though, because Larson got raced how he races everyone else.
Ooh.
Ain't holding back.
Tell us how you really feel.
That's the poll.
All right, and that'll do it for this edition of the poll, the famous iceberg poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Now we are at the top of the hour, but before I get into super chats, we can get through these other two races really quick. Xfinity and Trucks. I mean, Xfinity, I didn't get to watch it. I was out, striking out and stuff, so getting memed. So how did that race go, fellas? Anything worth talking about?
Just Junior Motorsports, in this case, Josh Berry, just
choking
choked on the last lap.
Yeah.
Sam Mayer was in the mix as well, but Austin Hill wins again. How many wins is this for Hill now? Four
Or five, right? Isn't it five?
I think he's tied with John Hunter. I think they both have four.
Is he starting to seem like an Xfinity Championship 4 favorite?
He's one of them.
Yeah,
I think he's been one of them. I think he's now in the conversation for which Cup car is he going to get next year? That's what it sounds like.
We'll get to that later on the show, but yes, it is 4 wins according to the chat. Yes, 4 wins.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and then
I mean that's about it. I mean,
I thought it was a good race, racing wise. It's just there weren't too many big moments.
Mm-hmm. And then the truck race. I mean, Kyle Busch has dominated the whole time. Or
no. That
was almost Heim time. Gosh damn it!
Oh really? Oh wow!
It was Heim time until the tunnel turn or whatever.
No, it was.
I can't.
It was a
believe
good
this.
duel. Heim held him off for a while. It was just Busch's Kyle Busch, and
when did Busch pass him though?
Like on the
With
last
2 to go.
lap.
Literally coming in for the tunnel turn, I think.
Yep.
Dang,
I
missed a lot of excitement.
It was
Damn.
textbook, to say the least.
Okay.
But I will say this:
that's where experience came into it.
Mm-hmm.
I picked the truck race and the Cup race. I finally got a Cup win in the next gen era.
There you go.
Well done.
And was also the 100th win ever for Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Yep.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, that's big.
That's big for them. But yeah, so that was the Pocono race weekend. Definitely one of the more memorable ones in its history, and it's a long history. And now we are at the top of the hour, so we are officially at the first super chat stage break of the evening. And now I am allowed to heart. I'm allowed to heart the super chats, so that'll be a lot easier to keep up with them from now on. So. Yeah, it's a new feature they added. So interesting. Eric, did you know that, Eric? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that must be brand new.
Yes. Oh, yes, indeed. But yeah, as soon as I start reading, just start the timer. Antar Das with the $10 super chat. First off, happy birthday, Darian. Thank you. Denny Hamlin didn't do anything wrong by driving standards. The problem is Hamlin not just owning it and tell everyone to piss off. Also, I think he means he means Joe Gibbs Racing. Also, wasn't Joe Gibbs Racing supposed to suck after losing Kyle Busch? Some people thought they would, but yeah, they're proven otherwise. Isaac with the $5 super chat. Happy birthday, BFM. Thank you. Also, my DH11 hate didn't start when he put KL5 in the wall and became a hypocrite. It started when he called Barbie the worst movie ever. And yeah, that's it. Sounds
he
like a base
wrong?
reason. Sounds like a base reason, I guess. Yeah, me and Danny were at that, dude. There was somebody like people dressed in pink. I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
what?
it was. We walked in. It's like, okay, it's very clear what these girls are going to see.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap, this is real. NASCAR Son 2414 with 2 super chats totaling to 11 or to $12. Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Darian, and God bless. Thank you, sir. And then the second one says, why can't drivers have at it going for the win with less than 10 laps to go? This is so overrated how much fans are complaining. NASCAR won't let drivers do whatever it takes to win at this rate.
NASCAR lets them do whatever they want.
Yeah, they let him. Yeah, I think they let him.
Hamlin walked out of there with the trophy. I mean,
yeah, like I don't know. Like if they were so strict, then they would have.
This is something I think fans need to understand. Controversial moments are supposed to be debated moments. Like
yeah,
like in any way. Like
I get to an extent fans do complain too much sometimes, and maybe including us from time to time. But I mean, for this case, I mean, it's just a debated controversy, I guess. She ranked 244 with the $20 super chat. Says happy birthday, homie. Thank you so much. And Marky Mark with the $5 super chat. Howdy, gents and all. Yesterday it was said that a cybersecurity firm sent a job offer to Denny Hamlin because they were impressed by his hacking abilities. Oh, that was a good one. That was a zinger. Oh, that was a good one. Hey, props to you. That's a good one. Hunter Nixon Fishing with the $10 super chat. Logano's rage rant on the track official reminded me of mid-2000s Kurt Busch rage. It didn't remind me of that at all. No.
No, it reminded me of Richard Petty. Get the fucking fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Kurt Busch was on another. Yeah, he's on a whole nother level.
No, that was more like Joey just let him have it as it is.
Yes, and then we got Bullet here with the $5 super chat. Happy birthday, Darian. Always happy to see you at our Nashville Fairground Speedway. Well, thank you, sir. And I will see you this weekend. Groovy Goose with the $5 super chat. Will Ferrell is the worst actor in Hollywood history. Whoa. I can't believe the Barbie movie signed him on. Anyway, happy birthday, Darian. Spin the UFO. Well, that was a random one.
I think that was a Napa auto part. I can't believe Napa signed back on.
Yeah, that had to be. Yeah, that had to be. Yeah,
that is time.
All right.
Outside of Elf, I'm not much of a Will Ferrell fan myself.
Yeah.
Decide.
Hey, Jared, tell us about Talladega Nights.
I won't say about that, but I will say that the other guys is pretty good.
Yeah.
Aim for the bushes.
Yeah.
Aim for the bushes.
Splat. But yeah, so that'll officially do it for the first super chat stage break of the evening. And at the end of the show, we will get to the rest of them. But now I am sensing something. We've had some major some weather out here recently. And it's a clear day today, but today I was hearing that we were going to get a return of it. It's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what do we have on tap for tonight?
A couple things. First off, Slinger, Winchester, and Kern will all be coming to iRacing.
Oh, I know Eric's happy. Hey, Eric, get iRacing so you can race Slinger. You're racing your heroes track. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You've been there. So
we can talk a little extra about this one if you want. The Nashville Fairgrounds had a meeting yesterday amongst those for and opposed to the track renovation from Bristol. There was a huge turnout on the Bristol side of things from the local community, and it got crazy on social media. Your boy here got a little viral at one point.
Amazing how they found tweets from 2001. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, who knew? Hey, I didn't know Twitter was invented in 01. Hey, different. Hey, now we know.
I find it funny that the guy who was on the fair board who works for the company that sponsors the soccer stadium is the leader of the opposition against it. It's almost like there's a conflict of interest.
It's almost like they want parking spaces for a stadium or something.
For a stadium that is definitely not going to sell out anytime soon.
It's
If Messi comes to town, they probably will.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, they do have pretty good crowds. I will.
Okay.
Well, it's
okay.
only 30,000. I mean,
Gotta have it.
like you should be getting that sold out. A reminder: the NWP 400 will be Tuesday, August 22nd on IDK Players channel. You'll see, hopefully, this guy over here, birthday boy here, in the race. He's got to make it.
Hopefully, I make it.
The duels on the Friday night before. These bottom two will be in the chat, hyping y'all up and live chatting during the race, and you'll hear my beautiful voice along with IDK Players. So that should be a lot of fun.
And shout out to Coop Designs giving me a new scheme, so hopefully it makes it into the main race. So we'll see.
And then, I'm gonna get this stuff all off the screen for a bit, and we're gonna look at. Darian's mentioned it, guys. You want to look at the worst strikeout ever?
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing close.
Here we go.
Probably cost us 2 arms and a position player, and probably at least one prospect.
God.
Did he foul that off?
What were you swinging at?
What was bro swinging?
My favorite thing is the guy. There's like a guy in a black T-shirt, like 3 rows back, who after you make that swing, he immediately goes crumbling to the ground like this. Just absolutely floored.
I like the woman that's sitting on the side of the first baseline that's like pointing like, run, it's a wild pitch.
That's what I get for not preparing properly. That's what I get.
I don't know how they had this set up for you guys, but I wish that there would have been something that they make it clear. He makes content about NASCAR.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny is, and shout out to the fans there. They were awesome. What's funny is we were set up in our own dugout. There were a bunch of younger fans, and they were asking what I did for content, and then after I said Motorsports, immediately one of them was like, okay, because you clearly don't play baseball. I was like, yes, you are absolutely right. Yes, sir. Yes, absolutely. But hey, shout out to the Portland Pickles. Hey, I didn't contribute I didn't contribute play wise, but I did everything else. I did the batting races, the little watermelon rubber band thing, and I was mic'd up. So hopefully that'll come out pretty soon. So at least as far as the entertainment, I brought that.
We gotta hear the mic from that moment. We gotta hear what you said.
Oh, I immediately put it up to my mouth. I'm like, I am getting cooked, y'all. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I don't know when it'll be released, but it's gonna be funny.
I just want to know what happened to our strategy, Darian. I thought we agreed you were gonna try to drop a nice drag bunt down. You got the speed,
dude. No, they were throwing that ball too hard. I didn't want to get hit in my hand, bro. They were throwing that. They were because these are college kids, bro. They were throwing like 90. I'm like, oh,
you kidding me? That was a close game.
I know.
It was like 7-4 at the end.
Come on, they were trying to.
That pitch didn't look 90.
It was 55. It was 3, and that was 3-0 for most of that game.
Hey, but that goes to show that we had some talented players on our team.
Or you played a bad team.
Hey, well, yeah, could be.
Hey, 3. Even every national championship team has a bench warmer, so.
Man, but you know what? Hey, as soon as 5 points, maybe the bench warmer, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be the best bench warmer. Hey, good job, guys.
This team had 14 bench warmers.
Yeah,
like
8 of them played.
That bench was on fire.
Like, imagine being a bench warmer for the Georgia Bulldogs football team. You do nothing all year, but you still get a national championship ring.
Oh, what's up, Macwell? He left a super chat. He's an awesome soccer YouTuber. World Cup's about to start. Enjoy that. But I want to say one final thing before we head off here and move on to a different topic. 5 points is he is truly an awesome friend, and here's why. Because he saw me batting, and he was seeing me field and stuff, but then he saw me throw. And he was in charge of the lineups, and he put me last. And you know what? He's a real one, because he immediately knew. He's like, you ain't playing like that, bro. You're last. Get in the back, because he wanted to win. I told him that afterwards. Like, hey, thanks for keeping it real. So I appreciate that. But yeah,
no, the funniest response I saw was, Darian, I didn't take you as the guy who was perennially picked last in recess.
Look, I was a 4-year Letterman guy. I got the Letterman jacket to prove it, but this was in track and cross country. This was not in no baseball though.
This is
So
why you had to just drop a bunt and beat the throw. I'm just trying to play to your strengths, strategize.
Hey, it's all good. You know what? I am down to do it next year, but you know what? I will train properly this time. And this is my redemption arc. So I have it set up already. So next year, redeem year.
Somebody just tell me when there's a YouTuber fishing tournament and I'll sign up.
Yeah. or you know, hey, when's the boxing tournament? I'm seeing all these YouTubers making all this money off of boxing.
No, I called that one.
No, we need to have NWPWE.
Wrestling. Yeah, let's have a wrestling match.
Oh God, that's Danny B's music.
Oh. All right, but
they built every tall wrestler as like insanely taller. He's 7 foot tall. Eric Easton, he's coming in the ring.
But yeah,
this is getting a little silly, y'all.
Yeah. So let's move on now. And once again, that would do it for this edition of the famous lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now back to the show. Before we go ahead, Danny.
I was gonna say, why is it the lightning round to get us acting goofy?
I don't know.
We're just preparing for silly season.
Yeah, good point. So before we move on to the top 75 list, we have to go over some major silly season news. Now, this news began to drop a day after the podcast. Just our luck, right? Like, I wish it would have dropped Wednesday. We'd had so much to talk about. But of course, you know, Justin Haley has to announce this. So I was just scrolling on Twitter, and all of a sudden, I see Justin Haley signs a multi-year deal with Rico Racing. I'm like, troll immediately. So I just click on the profile, and it's Bob. I'm like, it's Bob Pockrass's actual account. I'm like, what? And then I check Rick Ware Racing's Twitter. We follow each other. Thank you guys so much for supporting the content over the years. I appreciate it. Then it's official too. So Justin Haley has signed a 3-year deal with the team. Now, at first, immediately there were all the, at first it was a huge shock, but then all career suicide, his career's over. But then you got the news that with this deal comes a technical alliance with RFK. So, fellas, Eric, I'll start off with you. With this technical alliance, do you not only think that Rick Ware Racing can eventually become a potential playoff team, but do you think Justin Haley will be the replacement for when Brad Keselowski retires?
Yeah, I hadn't thought about what this could mean for, RFK explicitly going forward. I look at, they already have their alliance with RFK. This is the first year of that alliance. So, we've seen maybe a small uptick in speed this season. I'm hoping for a bigger step forward next season. I guess, like I said at the beginning, I think this is a good move for Justin Haley. He didn't have sponsorship to stay at Colleague. I don't think that was necessary. That could have gotten done, but it would have taken months. And this way, he's in control of his future. He makes this decision, and they could build something over there. So I don't. At the first year, it's not going to be better than what he's in now, but I think going forward, this team has potential, especially with this next gen car. Like I think this could be the next Spire in a lot of ways. 3 or 4 years ago when LaJoie went to Spire, we were like, it's no better than Go Fast, maybe even worse. And we've seen how they've turned that team around and made themselves a legit contender. It'll be tough to break into that next echelon of teams. They'll have to race with a Wood Brothers car, which is Penske line. They'll have to start beating the legacy cars consistently. Colleague is in that next group. It's going to be tough to break into that group, but I don't think they're as far off as people realize.
Okay. Yeah, I think with this is you got to look at what they've been doing this year. And I think one of the nice stories we've heard this year is Rick Ware Racing with JJ Yeley. JJ Yeley has been in the top 20 in some races off speed, top 25. Now, granted, in the 36 car field, you might say, oh, that's not saying much. But it was only 3-4 years ago that we were talking about the Rick Ware cars being so bad that people were saying they need to be banned from cup races because they were so slow with the 51, the 52, the 53, and the 54. So there's been noticeable improvement. Yaley especially. I mean, didn't he start in the top 5 at Bristol for the dirt race? And he's run in the top 20, 25 more
top often. Top 5 at Nashville too to start that race as well.
Yeah. Yep. So they're showing improvement with JJ Yeley, who, no disrespect, but I would think that Justin Haley should run better than JJ Yaley. Now, I will say I kind of hope that the teammates are Yaley and Haley. I just want to say that now.
Yeah.
But it's not – if this team improves like they say they think they can, and this alliance works, this isn't as dumb of a move as it looks. It's like a short-term loss for a long-term gain. Because, I mean, you look, there's other teams. Spire's a team that we're like, oh, this is – a back marker. There'll be the last 5 cars every week. And now we're looking at Corey LaJoie for most of the year was top 20 in points. So if it works out, I think it's a genius move because Call League has kind of stayed static. If it doesn't work out, it's career suicide.
And Danny?
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hoping it works out good for him. I mean, he definitely brings in, good super speedway prowess, and if they get him the right car, they can work with the other Fords, and potentially be up there in those races. Do I think he's going to do good at the other tracks? Not so much. But I'm really curious, like, how long, like, has Justin known, hey, you're not coming back? Because it sounds like Colleague has known for a while that he wasn't coming back too. So I'm curious, like, how long this has been going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, very interesting. I think it'll take some time. Now, it's a 3-year contract, but at the end of the day, contracts are meant to be broken. I feel like within that 3-year period, hearing this RFK alliance, I am convinced that Justin Haley is going to be the eventual driver of the 6 once Brad Keselowski retires. And I think with this 3-year deal, I think we have sort of a sense of, when that could come within. I mean, it could come maybe next year, the year after, or, the year after that one.
I just don't know if that's the Peppy. Should have led up that for your hot take, but.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, like with this alliance, I mean, like, I don't know. It just seems so random that all of a sudden now RFK and Rick Ware Racing are going to have this alliance. And then Justin Haley signs a multi-year contract. Like, I mean, like, who else could it be for as far as a replacement for Brad Keselowski? I don't know. I think something's already set in motion, me personally, but
I don't know,
I could be wrong.
It could be the case, but they also could look in free agency too. I mean, it's not like Brad's doing bad. He's 39 years old. He still as a driver probably has a good 4 or 5 years left competitive wise. But I don't know about that. I mean, there's so much that could change in that time.
Yeah, you never know who would be on the table at that point. There's potentially an Alex Bowman or someone like that could be looking for another place at that point.
Eric, you agree with them?
Yeah, well, I hadn't really thought about how Haley could end up with RFK like long term, because it is so long term. Like, Brad's going to drive until he retires, and that could easily be 6-7 more years, like Jarrett just said. So what we know is Haley signed a multi-year deal. We'll see if it works out. We'll see if Rick Ware Racing isn't able to put anything together, if this alliance ends up just not really panning out. I mean, the Wood brothers technically have an alliance with Penske, and they suck, like, so not all alliances lead to great results. So we'll see where this alliance fits in on that, in that ecosystem. But I for now, Haley's an employed driver in the NASCAR Cup Series on a team that is ascending ever so slightly. There's worse situations to be in.
Right on.
So question for you guys now: who ends up with Colleague?
Yep, and I was just about to get to that, but really quick, the chat agrees with y'all because 58% are saying no, Haley doesn't, while 42% say yes. But I'll answer that first, Danny. Austin Hill to me is the clear-cut favorite right now.
Yeah, that's what the reports are indicating. He brings some sponsorship from I think Bennett. I think it is based in Georgia. He's a Georgia guy. I don't know if there's any deeper connection there than that. And then, of course, there's United Rentals that have been with him for a while. And he's a good driver. He just won his 4th Xfinity race of the year. He is a good driver, and he's older. How isn't he like 29, 30 years old? Mm-hmm. He's older than I think people realize. He's not like 25 or 23 or whatever. Like John Hunter's like in his mid-20s. He's not mid-20s. He's not like a prospect. He's a little more seasoned, let's just say, than your average potential Cup Series rookie. So he's not the flashiest name, not the flashiest personality. He does have a mean right hook, we know. But other than that, I mean, he's a talented race car driver. Right? Like I think he's a good balance of talent, youth, and bring some funding. So I can see why he'd be a favorite.
And he's turning 30 next year.
Yeah. So he's 29. Okay.
So I'd say that I would put him as the favorite based on both the reports and just what's been talked about sponsor wise. I know people are talking SVG. I don't know where he fits into all of this, man. That's the thing, because you're just hearing about this stuff after Chicago, and I can see teams changing stuff around if the sponsorship comes around. And that's something Call League has said. They're open if someone wants to come for sponsorship. So I think that's a possibility, just maybe not for the 31. I'm not convinced AJ Allmendinger stays in Cup long term.
I'm not either.
I could see that Call League having complete driver turnover year over year.
Yeah, there could be a reset of sorts at Call League. Like, I would not be shocked if it's SVG and Austin Hill in 2024. I mean, that's a little bit of a long shot, but we saw it. We heard reports today. Saw V8 Sleuth reported that multiple teams have offered SVG a full-time Cup ride. I would be shocked if Call League hasn't had a conversation.
I think AJ just seemed to fit the Xfinity Series program a lot better. And I could see him still stepping up and driving like their third number 13 every now and again, but I don't know if he's, going to want to do the full Cup schedule again.
Now, I wouldn't want this, but maybe a potential dark horse, just a dark horse, maybe a Chandler Smith. I doubt it though, but I mean, he has shown a little bit of promise, but I would think a full-time ride in Cup is pushing it though at this point in his career.
I don't think it's quite time for him.
No, I agree. But yeah, you never know. It could be a dark horse. He's still, performing somewhat well in the Xfinity Series for sure. Now, this next one, involves one of the greatest names, not just in NASCAR history, but in racing history in general. Andretti to NASCAR. Now, some of y'all may have heard the Andretti to F1 rumors, but F1's pretty airtight on who they allow in, who they don't. And unfortunately,
they're even struggling to sell tickets, apparently, from what I've seen.
Yeah, so the whole honeymoon phase seems to be over.
Apparently, people don't want to see 300 feet of a track for $7,500,
or a single file lap parade, or Red Bull.
No, but you don't see the parade; you just see 300 feet,
pretty much. But anyways, yeah, Andretti. It's rumored right now they could potentially come into NASCAR. Andretti and Spire may take the first step in a deal. Corey LaJoie already signed his extension with Spire, and Spire could merge with them or have a full rebrand. And the next charter deal could be north of $30 million. Remember, Trackhouse got Chip Ganassi Racing's charter for $40 million. And also, I
have a little note here.
Go ahead.
I'm so sick of every time we talk about charters this coming up. Dale Jr.'s not involved. So for the love of God, can we stop asking about this? No.
It's too fucking balls.
$10 million. That's too much for me. $20 million.
But how does JRM eventually come to Cup?
They don't.
That's the thing. They aren't.
No. I'm convinced this is Dale Jr.'s new excuse. It'll just cost too much. That's his excuse. He doesn't want to come up to Cup. He's never wanted to. And now all of a sudden when it costs too much, he says he does. No. Like, it's never. I'm just sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of hearing about it, man.
Bro, he's trolling at this point. But then
I don't even know if he's trolling. I'm sick of every time we talk about charters. Dale Jr. could be involved. No.
I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah, at this point. And then finally, this potential rumor is very interesting. Carson Hocevar to Spire in Cup, maybe potentially full time. I mean, it was rumored by Door Bumper Clear. He had a very impressive run at Gateway, and me and Jarrett were there. And he was running like top 15 straight up before he had the brake rotor issue. So fellas, let me ask you this really quick. Danny, I'll start with you. If Carson Hocevar would be announced, well, let me rephrase that. Let's say this whole rebrand goes through, right? Let's say Andretti has a full rebrand, or at the very least is merging with Spire. In the second Spire, or in the second Spire / Andretti car, Danny, do you think Carson Hocevar is ready to go full time next year if he signed?
No, I don't think he's ready. I would actually like to see him run full time in the Xfinity Series next year, and whether that is with JRM or if Spire wants to go and run a full car, because honestly they got pretty good speed in that Spire car in the Xfinity Series. But I think he's better suited for the Xfinity Series right now. But regardless, Spire would be dumb to keep Ty Dillon that car next year. They need to do. They need to move on.
But wait,
Yeah.
he got second place stage points though.
There's a lot to unpack here. First off, Andretti, if Andretti comes into NASCAR, it'll be years away. It'll be at least a year or two away until that happens. What the interesting wrinkle in this is Gainbridge signing a major deal with Spire, and I don't know exactly what that hurt. I've heard rumblings that could be a bigger deal than we initially realized. Like that could be almost like they're coming in and taking over part of the team in a weird way, which that's where Adam Stern's reporting and Andretti has a connection and they're sort of testing the waters. I don't know exactly what's going on over at Spire, but LaJoie is reportedly close to signing a deal, an extension. Something's cooking over there, something big. Andretti in some way, shape, or form is almost certainly involved. As for Hocevar potentially going cup racing, I agree with Danny. I don't think he's fully mature enough yet. Just mentally, I think we saw him try to right rear somebody just a couple months ago at Martinsville. That wasn't that long ago. I think he's taken a step forward from last year. I think he surrounded himself with different people. He has a different, more mature sort of philosophy, but it's going to take time until I'm truly convinced he is mentally and emotionally ready to go cup racing. I think he has the speed to go cup racing right now. We saw that at Gateway, but does he have the I've heard that this word's been thrown around a lot more by different people in recent weeks. Does he have the racecraft necessary? Like he was fast at Gateway, he blew his brakes off. Like I think it's safe to say the driver probably had something to do with that, or at least the setup or something. They had something to do with that. So we'll see. I think there's DBC just rumored that he might go to Cup. They didn't say specifically who with. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But there's a lot there. There's so much going on. Spire is really interesting. The last bit you guys talked about, no, there's no way Ty Dillon stays at Spire. I would be shocked. They just swapped crew chiefs because it's easier to do that midseason than swap drivers. But the 77 is just underperformed across the board this year.
My question long term with Andretti is, do they in some way maybe help draw in a new manufacturer? Because if you think about it, they're probably not going to want to come in and be like fourth fiddle on the Chevrolet ladder, or third fiddle on the Ford ladder, or third or second fiddle on the Toyota ladder. I would wonder, especially years away, if they'd want to put something together that would work better for them long term, rather than try and build from the bottom and basically be wherever Spire is at, if that is the case of them making some kind of merger or
if it makes sense, I wouldn't be shocked. But right off the bat, I would imagine Chevy's still a lock for them.
If this is like 2025, 6, 7, like that's long enough away to set something up.
So, you talk about a new manufacturer. I mean, as of right now, Honda currently supplies their engines in IndyCar. And, there's been rumors about maybe Honda, coming to NASCAR and shit. I remember way back in like 2018 hearing rumors about that. So, I mean, that could be a potential manufacturer right there, just to start for sure.
But it would coincide with like the possibility of the new engine too. Like whenever that's going to be implemented.
For sure.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about that in a couple of years.
It's been a minute.
Wasn't it supposed to be implemented like 2 years ago? And now it's like, whoa, it's in development.
Yeah.
It's been definitely by 2024.
Been in development for quite some time, that's for sure. But as far as the chat's concerned, when I asked, does Andretti join NASCAR, 75% agree that they think they're going to join NASCAR, while 25% say no. And as for the Hocevar, is he ready for Cup question? 81% said no, he is not ready for the Cup Series. So they agree with y'all. They wanted to stay in Xfinity and still develop. So, wow. So we had some silly season news there, fellas. And I'm pretty sure, just knowing our luck, we're probably going to have something drop tomorrow again. So we'll see. But anyways, so we are now done with the silly season segment. But now we are about to move on to our top 75 greatest NASCAR Cup drivers of all time. We have, fellas, I feel like we started this yesterday, it feels like, but now we are going through 25 to 21, and we are about to start the top 20 next week, but we're in the top 25 now. So, wow, man, this is crazy. It's crazy. And
let's get to it.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I got tongue-tied really quick. But pretty much for the chat, you're going to recognize a lot of these drivers. That's for damn sure. At number 25 on our famous top 75 drivers list, we have one of not only one of the greatest NASCAR drivers of all time, but certainly one of the drivers that gave us the greatest sound bites ever, Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch, the oldest of the Busch brothers, 2004 NASCAR Cup Series champion in the first ever chase format, which was also my first season watching the sport personally. That is a season I will never forget. He beat both Hendrick drivers that year. I believe he beat Jimmy Johnson by just 8 points, man. And he had a loose wheel, could have derailed his championship chances. But yeah, it gave Roush Racing a championship. 2017 Daytona 500 champion for Stewart-Haas Racing, and also won the 2010 All-Star Race and Coke 600 in back-to-back weeks for Team Penske. 34 career Cup Series victories, won in 19 of his 22 full-time seasons, including the last one where he unfortunately had his career cut short by a concussion, but still doesn't take away from an awesome career. So let me see where y'all ranked him. So Jared, where did everybody rank them as far as we're concerned?
You had him 30th, I had him 21st, Danny 22nd, Eric 26th, and Chat 25th.
Okay.
What jumps out to me about Kurt Busch was, not to get into all the, off-track issues he encountered, but, he was fired from teams. He sort of had to rebuild his career. He was driving to 51. He was, there was sort of like a halftime in a way in Kurt Busch's career. Got off to an exciting first half, winning that championship when he was still young, winning a bunch of races, driving for the captain. And then in that second half, he sort of, became a different figure. With Stewart-Haas Racing, he was part of an elite veteran team in 2017, 2018, went to Chip Ganassi, and I think helped in many ways put that team back on the map. He was a contender all 3 years he was there. Kurt Busch, I just think it's remarkable that Kurt Busch, there was like 2 different eras. His career could have gone south and basically, ended midway through, and he kept at it. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yeah.
Well, and people forget too, I think one of his most impressive accomplishments was 2013 taking Furniture Row to the chase, because
forgot about Furniture Row. Yeah.
People are going to think about Martin Truex Jr. and all he did there. But before Truex was there, and Truex had a pretty bad year in 14 with the team. That team was nothing more than a 25th place team that had a one-off win with Regan Smith and a few impressive finishes, top 10 here and there. And Kurt Busch took that team to, I believe, an 8th or 9th place finish in the chase that year. I think that was, especially coming off the Phoenix Racing year, was one of the most impressive years that any drivers put up in the chase era. And I hope people remember that more than I'm assuming they do, because that team was not chase caliber at that point, and Kurt Busch willed that team to the chase.
Yeah, my favorite all-time chase, about to say chase up, what the heck? My favorite all-time Kurt Busch moment was 2012 driving for Phoenix Racing in Cup at Infineon. He was leading the race. Then unfortunately, I believe he had a sway bar issue, but was still able to wheel that car to a top 5 finish, and he was crying afterwards. And and then the following week, this was in Xfinity, but he ended up winning for Phoenix Racing. And I don't know, I just thought that whole year was like, his rebuild year in a sense. And afterwards, I was able to drive for Furniture Row and then, Stewart-Haas Racing and get his career back on track. And now he is a top 25 driver on our top 75 list. Yep, Kurt Busch, certainly one of the greatest drivers in NASCAR history. At number 24, at number 24, we have another champion. His dad is definitely on this list, but we have the son on here as well. Dale Jarrett, the 1999 NASCAR Cup Series champion, was extremely dominant that year. I know that because I did a championship seasons video on him back in 2018. Ended up clinching the championship a few races early, I believe a race or two early. He is the 1993, 96, and 2000 Daytona 500 champion, a 3-time champion of that race. Also won the 96 and 99 Brickyard 400s, and he started the tradition where you kiss the bricks after winning too. So that was not started by IndyCar drivers in the Indy 500. No, a NASCAR driver started that. Also won the Coke 600 in 1996, 32 career wins. I was surprised by that. I thought he had like 40 something, but no, only 32 and 7 top 5 points finishes. And in an era where, you had Gordon, Earnhardt. I mean, you had, some of these fields were extremely stacked. That's even more impressive. So I'll start with Danny here. Just or actually, no. Let me start off with Jarrett because he has him ranked the highest out of all of us. So why did you rank him 16th?
I just think he's one of the more underrated drivers. He competed in his most competitive era against Jeff Gordon at his prime, and his best in his career. Mark Martin was astoundingly fast back then. Same with Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt racing at the same time. And you look at that late 90s to early 2000s, it was a transitionary period, and he still was racing up there. Even in his down years towards the end, he was in contention for the chase in like 04 and a little bit in 05. I won't say that it ended gracefully by any means, but I think that he is definitely an underrated driver, and the accomplishments he has, I think, justify him being in the top 20.
Understandable.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I was kind of like you, Darian. I was a bit surprised to see he'd only won 32 races, but he raced through NASCAR's, heyday. He was there for the rise, the peak, maybe the start of the fall. Dale Jarrett, easily worthy of being a top 30. I think I had him 24th. I want to say I didn't see which one was on screen a second ago. I would say definitely a top 25 driver. So I really have no issues with where he's at on this list. I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah, you had him 24th. I had him the lowest at 28th. I just wanted him in that top 30 at least. So that's fair.
Much as people may give Kyle Busch credit for being the most memorable driver of the 18, he's one of he's the original 18, and for Joe Gibbs Racing, and helped put them on the map.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that. Show. Yeah, a lot of people forget. Yeah, he was the first driver for Joe Gibbs. And help that team.
The Dale and Dale show, man.
Yeah, Dale and Dale show, of course. Yeah, with Ned Jarrett, commentating that. Very memorable.
Never forget his once football team with Brett. Sorry, not football team. His team of Brett Favre for a little bit.
Oh yeah. That did a video on that too. But hey, as far as his Cup Series accomplishments, for sure he accomplished a lot, and that's why he's 24th on our list. At number 23, we have another Ford driver. Mr. Short Track Racing himself, Joey Logano.
Hey, get over here.
Get over here. Get this. Yeah, told the effing thing. Yeah, sons of...
Short Track Racing.
To his Cup Series accomplishments, he is a 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, won in both 2018 and 2022, 2015 Daytona 500 champion, and currently, just like Dale Jarrett, 32 career wins. He still has a long way to go, fellas. Youngest Cup Series winner ever at the age of 19, winning a range-shortened New Hampshire race in 2009, qualified for the playoffs 10 times, and also qualified for the Final Four an astounding 5 times ever since the playoff era has been implemented, which included the first year in 2014. So I'll start with Eric, man. I have him 21st. Eric, I have him 21st, Jarrett 24th, Danny 26th, 23rd, Eric in the chat 22nd. That's pretty damn even if you ask me. So yeah. Eric,
again,
what are your thoughts?
I agree with the ranking. He's a 2-time champion. I put him below drivers like we have Mark Martin coming up, who I know I'm pretty sure is ahead of Joey Logano on our list. I have Mark Martin ahead because didn't win any championships, Cup championships at least, but 40-time winner. You consider the era he raced in, how close he was a number of times. So the only thing that, maybe keeps Logano out of the top 20 is he only has 32 wins, but he's still got a long way to go.
Right.
He's going to get to 40 at this rate easily. I would be shocked. I think there's a great chance he gets to 50. Now, it's worth noting, I pulled up his stats here, mid 2010s, I should say, he was on fire. 5 wins, 6 wins, 3 wins. Then he had, a 1-win year, 2, 3, 1, 4 last year, won the championship. The wins have become slightly less frequent in recent years, I would say. But he's still just so consistent. The point is he wins every year. So I think right now Logano is 23rd because he's only 33 years old. Mm-hmm. But by the end of his career, he will be top 20 of all time, no doubt.
Crazy thing is, I think I heard more people talk about this when he first came in, because when he first came in was 08, he was 18 years old back then, And at the time, Mark Martin still racing in his 50s. People said if Joey Logano would race until he is 50, it would be 2040 by the time he even reaches the same age Mark Martin was.
And I remember that era too. He was being hyped up. I mean, Mark Martin said he's the best thing since sliced bread. And
He said it. He said it was Roush's worst mistake to not go after him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Joe Gibbs, capitalized on it. Now, unfortunately, is sitting with Joe Gibbs. I mean, he's still extremely young, from 2009 to 2012. Only won 2 races, but still at the early stages in his career. Once he moved to Team Penske in 2013, that's when his Cup Series career began to officially take off.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I think we're selling him short.
Really?
Joey Logano, I think, is one of the most overlooked elite drivers in NASCAR history at this point. Like, I think fans take for granted how well he's doing. He like we said earlier, 33 years old. He is not even at his peak as a driver yet, and he has 32 career wins.
Mm-hmm.
This dude easily could be up in the 70s or 80s by the time he calls it, because I don't think he's even peaked yet.
We talk about, a guy like Kyle Larson having a chance to eventually reach the 7-time champion mark. Well, don't rule Logano out. I mean, he just got a second one this past year.
No, I mean, I could see him being like, I mean, I know Eric just mentioned top 20. I could easily see top 10 too.
Maybe. I'm not going to say easily, because, I mean, sure, he could run. He could run another 10 years, but like, he's won 32 races by age 33. That's extremely impressive, but he's done it in like 15 full-time seasons. 32 wins in 15 seasons. That's good. That's still great. That's Hall of Fame numbers, but it's not, you're no longer on that Mount Rushmore. You're no longer top 10 conversation.
Yeah, but he was a teenager then.
No, I'm not. That's what I was just getting to. I'll take 4 of those years out. Let's say, year when he was 19, 20, 21, those don't really count. I'm not holding them against Ty Gibbs right now. He's 20 years old. I'm not going to hold those first few years against Joey Logano. Let's start when he gets to Team Penske, 2013. Okay, that's fine. I don't see Logano racing more than about 10 more years. I think he'll average 2 to 3 wins a year. So I think he ends up around 50 wins, maybe mid 50s. That's where I think Joey Logano ends up. I'm not ready to say Logano's a 70 win guy. I don't think there's any chance he gets to 70 wins.
Any chance he gets to 70 wins?
0 chance he gets to 70 wins. I'll say it right here. I'll make that declaration right here on the 26th day of July, 2023. No way Joey Logano gets to 70 wins.
We'll have to come back to this eventually.
I don't think the grind will get to him before too long. I think 60. He's an old 33. Let me put it that way.
An old 30.
Oh man, I wouldn't go that far. 33 is still so damn young for a driver. I mean,
he's not even halfway there yet, though. I don't know. It's possible. It's physically possible. I don't think there's any chance.
He still has 2 championships though.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
So
I mean, if you look at what Kevin Harvick or Kyle Busch has done since the age of 33, like, I think it's easily possible for him to get to between that 60-70 range. That's 38 wins over the next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, you also got to factor in the next gen car. Like Harvick had just the best car for a couple of years.
He just won a championship in it.
No, but I'm saying you're not going to see 10-win seasons. I don't think you're going to see, like, Harvick's had a 9-win year. Larson just had a 10-win year. Busch has had 8 and I don't know if he's had 9, but he's had 8-win seasons.
We saw 10-win seasons in every generation of car. But
we've never had a next gen car. I don't know.
There's a long way to go before then. There's a long way to go.
We'll see if the parity eventually, sort of tapers out once the next gen car is a lot older. But for now, a lot of parity and stuff. So we'll see.
I predict 54 wins for Joey Logano when it's all said and done. 54.
That's fair. I'd say that's fair. Or a little over 50. I agree. I'd agree with that.
Be somewhere around there, I'd say.
Yeah. Jared, what do you think? Like 80 something? What'd you say?
103?
106. 201. No,
we're gonna have 7 years of just Joey every week.
Yeah, Joey
69.
Joey. Okay, all right. Hey, 69. There you go. It's still me.
I like that. You go right on the over under.
Hey, to the Joey girl. Hey, sing it, girl. Sing it loud and proud, because he is 23rd on our list. At number 22, we have an OG in the NASCAR Cup Series, Tim Flock, part of the famous Flock family, a 2-time Cup Series champion, in 52 and 55, 39 career wins. That's more wins than Logano and Jarrett for sure. And had the the highest win percentage of any full-time driver ever with 20.9. So basically 21%. Won NASCAR's first race in 1949 and also won 18 races in 1955. So damn nearly half of his wins came in one season and had a very impressive video game-like career average finish of 9.5. He also led 3,495 of the 6,211 laps in his 1955 championship season. Let's see. So the chat had him ranked the highest. And then I see Jarrett had him ranked the lowest, but we were all pretty close. We were all relatively cose. So
he raced with a damn monkey. Flacco.
He raced with the damn monkey as well. Almost forgot about that. The monkey didn't they have to take the monkey out eventually though?
So there's a story. What happened was he had Jocko Flacco basically strapped down in a seat. And if you know monkeys, like people say monkeys are smart animals, they're stupid animals. Like they're curious, but they're stupid. And so he had a door that he would open in the car because they had little trap doors in the bottom of the cars back then to check how the tire wear was or if there was any damage or something. Well, Jocko Flacco, in his infinite wisdom, wanted to open the door into showing into the track, and he got hit in the face with a rock and just went and screaming all over the car. At this point, Tim Flock is leading the race. He has to go in the pit road, throw the damn monkey out of the car, and he ends up finishing second.
Damn.
Jocko didn't last in that long after that. But yeah, I mean, one of the most interesting stories, and I had to include old Jocko Flacco.
But also one of the greatest drivers, greatest drivers ever, clearly, especially, during NASCAR's infancy. I mean, winning the first race, dude, 18 wins in a season. That's crazy. I know it's a different era, but geez, man, that's crazy. That's crazy too. And I feel like, if you're a diehard NASCAR fan, if you know the history of the sport, if you go back to that era, if you were to name 5 drivers, Tim Flock would easily be one of those 5. Wouldn't you agree, Danny? Or Eric, excuse me.
Well, I just said the whole Flock family obviously were legends of the industry back then. They were the textbook moonshiners to racers in those days. So, two-time champ. How many was it? 39 wins? Yeah. I don't have any. I think you guys said it.
Win percentage ever.
Yeah, that's crazy. 21%. That's absolutely insane. But yep, Tim Flock, 22nd on this list. And finally,
I know who's next.
Yep, the final driver of the night at number 21. Somebody call Slap Shoes. Get him in the chat. Mark Martin. Mark Martin at number 21. Eric, who'd you think we were about to say?
I guess I just assumed it was Kenseth. I had him 21st on my list. Okay.
No.
I had Mark Martin at P20. You're telling me that y'all put Matt Kenseth inside the top 20? He has to be in the top 20, right? Not pulling my leg.
I feel like he's gotta be 20 exactly.
And we'll
maybe
find
that'll
out.
be the case. My gosh. All right, Mark Martin.
No. Mark Martin at number 21 finished second in points 5 times and lost those championships to Dale Sr., Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and Jimmy Johnson. So it's not like he lost it to to bums per se, but to some of the greatest drivers in NASCAR history with multiple championships, by the way. So 40 career wins as well, finished 6 or higher in points from 1989 to 1999. So certainly one of those drivers who had the 90s on lock. Also won the 93 and 2009 Southern 500s. And boy, that's a lot of years in between for sure. The 2002 Coca-Cola 600 winner. And in 1998 had the greatest season to never win a title statistically. Jarrett, I knew Jarrett would have him at least in the top 20. Jarrett, why'd you put him inside the top 20 of your list?
Because if he were to have his best seasons in any other years than he had them in, he is a 4 or 5-time Cup champion. Look at the guys who beat him. Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson. I think you could argue in the last 30 years, those are 4 of possibly the best possible 4, 5, or 6 drivers to ever race. 2 of them.
We haven't gotten to them on our list yet. That's how
Yeah.
good they are.
None of these 4 drivers we've gotten to on our list. Spoiler alert, I don't think any of these drivers are next week on the list either. Like they're high up on the damn list. 2 7-time champions. The worst driver he lost a championship to was Tony Stewart. So
Scrub.
I think that says a lot.
It does.
I think if he, again, it's like luck of the draw. If he has his best seasons ever in any other season against any other drivers, he's a 4 or 5-time champion.
Mm-hmm.
He was so influential as well. Not only, fans obviously loved him. He was a gritty, just true racer, worked on his own stuff, was also talented behind the wheel, but he was also a fan favorite and influential to many drivers. I think drivers that race today, you ask a lot of them, they looked up to Mark Martin. There are a few drivers they respect the same way they respect Mark Martin. So he was never a Cup Series champion, but was great in the Xfinity Series, still won 40 Cup races. That I think is still top 20 on the all-time wins list. Maybe he's down at like 21st at this point, but still really great. The longevity of his career and the number of people he impacted along the way. My favorite driver, Matt Kenseth, was partially discovered by Mark Martin. Mark Martin helped he and Robbie Reiser out when they were first racing in the Busch Series. So no, Mark Martin, spoiler alert, I had Mark Martin 1 spot ahead of Matt Kenseth. I couldn't quite put the not that they're like, student teacher, but I couldn't quite, Mark Martin was V1, Kenseth was V2. I couldn't put the new one over the original. So I'm shocked to see Mark Martin is 21st on our list. I thought he would have been 20th.
Yeah, the longevity is what really gets me.
Well, you got 5 wins past the age of 50?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then, first year with Hendrick in 2009, my goodness, just out of nowhere. I mean, just, going back to being a championship contender, and ended up losing to Jimmy Johnson. But,
they took away all the speed from the 88 and put it in that 5 car that year.
Basically, I guess. Right. So, but yeah, no, Mark Martin, definitely deserving to be on this list. It could be debated like, oh, Mark Martin's top 20. But, hey, on our list, he's 21st. So, you know what? It's still a good spot. Still a good spot to be in. So, Mark Martin, one of the greatest drivers ever. And that'll do it for this edition of our Top 75. To go over it one more time, at 25, Kurt Busch. 24, Dale Jarrett. 23, Joey Logano. 22, Tim Flock. And 21st, Mark Martin. Tune in next week where we go over 20 through 16. So, the list is counting down. We're going to get down to the top 10 eventually, but hey, thanks for tuning in, y'all. So for my other podcast hosts, I apologize. We're about to reach the top of the second hour and we still haven't gotten to picks yet, but we had so much to talk about though. So we will try to get through the pick segment as quick as possible. But before we get to it, we got to go over the Richmond/Road America preview. Now, a couple of weekend notes. There will be stage yellows and non-competitive pit stops at Road America. Just, NASCAR has been testing this out on only the road courses, I believe they've been testing
on
this
the
out,
standalone
right?
events for
the standalone events. Okay, standalone events. Okay, that makes sense. Trying to save some money. But yeah, so just a side note. And now going over the race info for this weekend. The Cup race name, one of my favorite names, Cookout 400. And there's a cookout down the street, and damn well I'm gonna be getting something afterwards. So Cookout 400, a total of 400 laps. Stages, 70 laps for stage 1. 70 laps for stage 1, 160 laps for stage 2, and then stage 3, 170 laps. I was confused. I'm like, whoa, 100, but I'm like, okay, so that's the way they have the stages set up. Start time is 3 p.m. Eastern time on USA/MRN. The weather for Sunday's race is 86 degrees with scattered thunderstorms, a 55% chance of rain. Here we go again. Our race being affected by rain. Go figure.
Who would have thought it?
Mother Nature hates NASCAR. The defending race winner is Kevin Harvick. As for the Xfinity Series race at Road America, the Henry 180, a total of 45 laps. Just a side note, I miss Road America so much. Stages are 15 apiece for 1, 2, and 3. The start time is 3 p.m. Eastern time on NBC/MRN. The weather for that race is on a Saturday, 77 degrees, mostly sunny. 13% chance of rain. The defending race winner is Ty Gibbs. And now, the Truck Series race. The Worldwide Express 250, total of 250 laps, Stages 70 laps for stage 1, 70 laps for stage 2, and 110 laps for stage 3. The start time is 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on FS1/MRN. The weather for that Saturday's race, 102 degrees. Oh my gosh.
Oof.
Hot. So very hot with afternoon thunderstorms, meaning a 40% chance of rain. And of course, my bad. The defending race winner is Chandler Smith. And of course, you can't forget about the SRX race, which is tomorrow at Motor Mile Speedway. The start time is 9 p.m. Eastern time. On ESPN, the weather for Thursday night's race, 91 degrees, humid with afternoon thunderstorms, a 40% chance of rain. The defending race winner, they didn't race here last year. So, Jared, just read off the entry list really quick.
Brad Keselowski, Haley Deegan, Bobby Labonte, Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart, Paul Tracy, Marco Andretti, Kenny Schrader, Elio Castroneves, Clint Boyer, Joseph Newgarden, and Kyle Busch.
Yeah, so remember those names for the pick parts.
It's a shame that they didn't get someone who made their one and only start here, Tia Norfleet at Motor Mile Speedway.
Damn, yeah, one of the greatest all-stars ever, for sure. But before we get into the pick segment, let's go over the NWP Fantasy League really quick, which, by the way, 1 and 2 are separated by just 10 points. And actually, actually, the top 3 are separated by a total of 20 points. Wow. Sean 48 NY is the points leader, followed by Trevor Sports 98. And third is Polish Victory Lap. Fourth is 48 Nation. And rounding out the top 5 is the one and only Denny Delivers. He bumped me outside the top 5. Wow. Impressive run. As for the second NWP Fantasy League, that's separated by 14 points. Wow. So extremely close battles. Racer Roar 48 in P1, Vroom HMS in P2, JC_43 in P3, P4 is 42 Larson 5, and rounding out the top 5 is unofficial Illinois representative. There you go. So appreciate you guys playing the Fantasy League. But now, folks, before we get into the picks part, it's time to go over the pick points. So let's go over this. So chat, congratulations. You still have the points lead, but here's the thing. Eric is coming. He is closing in as he is only behind by 6 points. In third is Jarrett after a very impressive weekend. Saw him win SRX, Truck, and Cup. So now he is minus 36 in third. Not too far behind is me in fourth at minus 39. But now we have the basement boy, Danny B, sitting minus 62 points.
I'm getting cooked.
Yeah, hey, it's all good. Not as cooked as I was in the baseball game.
Honestly, it's been worse. I think one year I was like 150 to 200 points out in the basement. So honestly, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not as bad. You are the only driver. You're the only one of the pick points not to pick a Cup Series winner yet. So hey, it's just around the corner.
I think I've got a good shot at it this weekend.
Hey, it's just around the corner. Just around the corner. So yeah, I think all of us have a good shot to get some points this weekend. Now, fellas, let's get right into it. Who is going to win the SRX race? Eric?
Hold on. We got betting odds, dude.
Oh, dang it, dude. We're
your
so
own
late
segment. And you completely forgot it. Come on.
I'm forgetting my own segment. There we go. Now, the betting odds. We got to get into that. Favorites for this weekend. Martin Truex Jr. at plus 45, plus 450. Followed by Kyle Larson at plus 500, not too far back. Denny Hamlin plus 650. Kevin Harvick plus 750, tied with Christopher Bell. As for the best of the rest, Kyle Busch plus 850. William Byron plus 900. Joey Logano plus 1,200. And at plus 1,600 apiece is both Ross Chastain and Chase Elliott. The underdogs, very close. Ryan Blaney at plus 2,200. Tyler Reddick at plus 2,800. Brad Keselowski plus 3,000. Eric Almirola at plus 4,500. They think very highly of him this weekend. And finally, Bubba Wallace at plus 5,500. So when you're making your picks, chat, keep those betting odds in mind. Okay, now to the picks part finally. Eric, you start us off. Who is going to win this weekend's SRX race?
I'm rolling with Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin won in his debut. I think Busch will win in his.
Is it
Can I spoil?
Just tell us. Just tell us.
All of us pick Kyle Busch.
Okay, so all of us pick Kyle Busch. Chat, It's looking. I figured it would be Kyle
They're
Busch.
picking Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I see mostly Kyle
So
Busch. Yeah,
SRX is redundant. Doesn't matter this week.
pretty much. Yeah. So we all got a chance to get some bonus points. So we'll see. We'll see. But anyways, now moving on to the Truck Series picks. Eric, start us off. Who's going to win the truck race?
I think I picked him more than I picked any other driver this year. Second week in a row, he was this close. He was strong at Richmond in the spring. It's Heim time, baby.
Jared,
And
just say it, Jared.
Just say it, bro.
We all pick Corey Heim too.
Oh, Sam, this is a really quick segment tonight. Yeah. So Corey Heim's our pick. Chat. Let's see who they pick. I don't think they're gonna go with Heim though. I think they'll go. Well,
they're going with Heim.
Never mind.
It's Heim time. It's
It's
clearly
Heim.
Heim time.
Yeah, it's Heim. Give him Heim. I might as well give him Heim.
Okay.
Damn.
we
so
So 2 races do not matter.
basically,
Well, they
we
matter
gotta
for
change-
they matter for sweeps.
They do
Okay.
matter for sweeps. That is true.
Okay.
That is very true.
We gotta pick differently for Xfinity, even though I have a feeling everyone's probably gonna
Alright.
pick the same guy
Nope.
for this as well.
We there are different picks in Xfinity and Cup.
Okay. All right. Sweet. So Eric, now start us off. Different picks for sure this time. Who is going to win the Xfinity race at Road America this weekend?
I'm shocked that there are different picks. AJ Allmendinger. It's weird that he's doing double duty this week since he's gonna have to travel between cities, but AJ Allmendinger, I think he won. Did he win Coda? Yeah, he won Coda earlier this year. Does he have any other Xfinity wins this season?
I don't know.
I don't think so. But Allmendinger, he's the safest pick to win an Xfinity race. I don't think there's any other Cup guys in the field. So
Give me the
Yeah.
dinger.
So I'm the guy who picked differently. This guy, I've picked him for road courses before, and he's ran up front and a lot of times, but he's always had some BS happen where it's bad luck. He gets taken out, or he's driving way in over his head. He doesn't have an Xfinity Series win yet, but I think he will after this weekend. Sheldon Creed is a NASCAR Xfinity Series winner. Let's go
Ballsy.
for it.
That's ballsy.
Why not?
Give me
Wow.
AJ.
And then
Also, give the chat AJ.
you might as well give the chat AJ. So I'm the lone wolf. Oh, the lone wolf. The lone wolf. All right, we'll see if it pays off or could potentially backfire very badly. But now to the Cup picks. So Eric, not for points, but who's gonna suck?
I'll go with Austin Cindric. If I'm not mistaken, he still does not have a top 5 at a non-super speedway or non-road course. So I don't expect that to change.
In his career?
I mean, yeah, his career is only a year and a half old, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jarrett.
Eric, I can tell you did your research because I got Cindric too.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Look,
We're study buddies.
we're gonna keep it in the Austin family, but Austin Dillon for me, for sure. It's gotta suck. Danny.
And even though I have him winning on Saturday, he's doing nothing to help himself out at the start of the week. I got AJ Allmendinger to suck at Richmond.
And we're just gonna give him Ty Dillon. I'm seeing mostly 77s. We're just giving Ty Dillon.
They have
in
Ty
that
Dillon.
quickly. All right. Now, Eric, who is your underdog for Richmond?
I mentioned him earlier. I think I said he finished 6th here in the spring. Just good all-around race car driver, but has been surprisingly good at the shorter flat ovals this year. Michael McDowell.
I'm gonna go with a guy who's been very solid at Richmond and solid at some of these shorter ovals as well. Was running very well before having an issue at New Hampshire, and I think that is a somewhat comparable track. I'm going Eric Almirola.
Hey, he's plus 4,500 in the betting odds. So yeah, very interesting. But I'm going to go with the guy below him at plus 5,500. Bubba Wallace plus 27 above the cut line. I've got a good feeling about him. I'm not saying he's going to be a contender to win, but top 10 run. That's a pretty good run for him at this point. Bubba Wallace, Danny.
And side note, it looks like the chat agrees with Darian. They're going to Bubba Wallace as their
then
underdog.
We'll give him Bubba.
But as far as me, they had good speed last week. He's won here before. They need to get it together. I'm going to Alex Bowman to be the underdog for this one.
All right. And now for the main event. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win at Richmond, Eric?
Toyota's usually fast here. I believe Larson got the win though in a Chevy recently, but it's I think it typically plays out some sort of fuel strategy or tire strategy plays out at the end. I think typically this guy is set up in a good spot. I think Martin Truex Jr. Is going to win. He's been just fast every week, and I think he and James Small are just clicking on the same page. I think, wasn't it Richmond earlier this year where they got off sequence on tires? I don't think that happens this year. They've learned from that mistake.
I don't care if it's Monday or if it's Sunday. I think the tires will prevail this time for Truex.
Okay. So it feels like Toyota's the obvious bet, right? I thought that last year. And then look what happened. He's been the ultimate team carrier. He almost won a race earlier this year at, a couple of short tracks, by the way. I'm going to go with Kevin Harvick. He's going to put that team on his back and win once again in the summer Richmond race. Let's get a little risky with it.
Yeah, okay, cool story, Darian. I tried that last week. It didn't work. It's Martin Truex Jr., clearly.
So I'm the lone wolf for Cup and Xfinity. Well, depending on the chat's going with
Chad's clearly going to Martin Truex.
So give me the old out.
So basically, I've got a chance to get Darian back in the basement with me.
Yeah. So wait, I think Jarrett, Danny, me, and the chat picked the same for all 4 races.
Yes.
Darian picked 2 different ones. This was the most boring pick week ever.
Yeah, really. Hey, I made it exciting, bro.
Darian's either going to gain a ton on all of us or is going to be last at the start.
The thing is, I can't move. So literally all I can do is drag Darian down.
Yeah, you can drag me down with him, or I can drag Jarrett.
Hey, this is a smart points week for me. I don't need to go for the win. I just need a smart points week.
I see the chat saying, hey, you can't gain on us. We're not going to lose points this week. Good picks, chat. Guys, remember, we've been over this last year. We'll let you do it this one week, but
don't do it. Yeah.
If this becomes a regular thing, we're not going to let you guys play unfair.
We will totally change how the chat can vote if you try and cheat the system.
Technically, y'all are supposed to be going first.
Yeah.
We don't do it that way.
Yeah.
Just stay in chat.
To be fair, though, this is a very predictable race weekend, I feel like.
It feels like it. Yeah.
You never know. We'll see. Yeah. All right. So we are at that point in the show, the second super chat stage break. At the end of the show, I will try my best, fellas, to get through these super chats as quickly as possible. Beast of Metal 1989. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I've had an epiphany. Hamlin best summed up by this quote from Metallica. Wait, what?
That was sent to me. I would have read it, no problem.
Gosh.
Oh gosh, there's a bunch of. Oh my gosh,
Darian, just take a picture and have me read it.
Okay, it's. I don't know what this says.
I'm not gonna let you embarrass yourself on your birthday.
I don't know what it says. Oh god,
just take a picture and send it to me.
All right, I'll send it to Jarrett right now. We have a delay.
Send it to me and Eric, just so we can proofread for you.
Here, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay,
I did not know what this says. All right, I'll keep reading off, though. I'll come back to it in a little bit. Jimmy Laios, thank you so much for the membership. He's been a member for 3 months. He says, happy birthday, or hi, Darian. Happy birthday, and he spells my name Darien. That's typically how some people think it's spelled. But thank you so much. Chrome Diesel with the $5 super chat. As a Pennsylvania native, Pocono had been the most packed since I began attending that track in 2013. Well, that's good. That's
cool.
Good. All right, Jared.
I don't know why Darian was struggling with that. I could read that right from.
Go for it, Danny.
What did it say?
Metalocalypse.
Oh, Metalocalypse. Oh, okay, I
don't know what comes after that. What is Vater or Log?
Yeah, I
saw
those 3 words. And I was just like, okay, what the?
I hope that's not like a curse word in another language. And
But all right, well, thank you. But Beast of Metal, the rest of it says it's not about right or wrong. ... At this point, it simply is. Okay. Well, thank you.
Profound.
Yeah, profound. I see. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for proofreading it. Hey, I can be illiterate sometimes. It is what it is. She ranked 244. Thank you so much for becoming an official BFM channel member. Thank you for joining the club. Need for Speed 5353 with the 2-hour super chat. Of course, a Ty Dillon super chat, but he says Ty Dillon second in stage 2. Let's effing go. I knew you had to be excited because all you talk about is Ty Dillon in our super chats part. NASCAR Sun 2414 with the $5 super chat. Thanks, Danny, for being a fan of my home state track, Road America. Hey, we all are fans of it.
I'm here for you today.
Yeah, we love it. Ross Crashtain with the $5 super chat. Sorry I'm late, but I am back. Dennis is still a freaking hack, of course.
Dang.
Slay Supersonic with the $3.02 super chat. Hey, Fantastic Four, how are you? I have 4 takes for you. That's it though. He didn't. But he sent another super chat down there. I see. So I'll get to that in a little bit. The Gun with the $20 super chat. Happy birthday again. Get those fantasy football picks ready for the draft. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Jerry, who's the Gun? Do you know who the Gun is? This account?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right. Yeah, tell me afterwards. Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Slay Supersonic with the $5 super chat. I told Iceberg this, but I have no sympathy for Larson. Ooh. He knocked his teammate Elliott out of the way for 2 wins last year. He did it to Bubba at Vegas, or he like squeezed him up. Yeah. All right.
Well, I know. No, Larson's not innocent. The difference is Larson knows to expect it back. Like he said that kind of on his podcast. I don't know that. I'm not convinced Hamlin does.
He would complain for sure. Yeah. For sure. Groovy Goose with the $5 super chat. Do you think Hamlin was being petty over the Larson versus Bubba Wallace incident at Vegas last year? The 2 incidents were almost identical. I mean, like, it was his car. He does own Bubba's car, so of course he wouldn't feel awesome about it.
I think it's fair for Hamlin to bring it up and say, hey, Larson would have probably done the same thing in my position. Look at this example of him doing the same thing in my position. Like, that's a fair argument. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, sounds fair. Shorty PJM with the $10 super chat. Says 1 of 2, so there's another super chat down there. The first one says, I know Denny is delusional, and then he has the laughing emoji. I defs don't like him, but where I differ is ... I sure AF don't like Larson either. Oh wow, he don't like it. I'm actually Team Denny here. It's always dirty, yes. He did it to Chase. Oh, okay. Interesting.
It's surprising me to hear that they don't like Denny, because I know that account. I see it a lot. They're a big fan of Bubba, so I figured they would like, the team owner.
Yeah, I guess not. Slay Supersonic with the $5 super chat. As a Kyle Busch fan who is still mad about the Suarez caution in the Daytona 500, I fully support NASCAR's decision. I fully support NASCAR's decision. Kyle Busch had that race won. Damn, it's been over 6 months. He's still PO'd about that race. Hey,
we're junior fans. We got 2 Daytona 500 wins.
Yeah.
Eric is a Kenseth fan with 2. If I didn't have a 500 win as for my driver, I'd be salty too.
And if you almost won it too, yeah,
that's accurate.
Shorty PMG with the second $10 super chat. He basically she continues her last super chat. What Larson never gets is he does this BS to everyone. Kurt, Bubba, Priest, even Willie. No one shuns him because he has any fans that because he has so many fans, to be honest, that worship him. Denny showed him a mirror. Both are shit. Oh my god.
Whoa.
Man. Hey, very explosive with the super chats tonight. I appreciate it. Gavin with the $2 super chat. Brad will win this Sunday. My boy. Hey, he's going with Brad. He's only plus 3,000, so it's certainly possible. And then Slay Supersonic with another $5 super chat. Holy crap. Thanks, man. Joey Logano tore that tow truck driver a new asshole. That was awesome. Not a Logano fan, but it does warm my heart to see a NASCAR official getting chewed up.
It's not his fault.
I know, but it's
not his fault that NASCAR's car makes it damn near impossible to drive it back with more than 2 flats.
It is what it is. Double O Music with the $2 super chat says Barry sad ending to the Xfinity race. Very sad. Hardy. Funny. And then Bangle Steel with the $2 super chat. Part of me wants Chase to miss, so changes will come to the team. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, potential changes maybe, or they might just stay the same. You never know. And then Larso with the $2 super chat. Chase seems out of it. I think he might retire.
Definitely.
Oh boy, we're just gonna move on. NASCAR Sun 2414 with the $2 super chat. I was at Iowa Speedway. You guys need to go. I do, especially for the IndyCar race. Looked like so much fun. And he had freaking Carrie Underwood performing there too at the concerts.
Cool. I just don't know if there's enough reason for me to go to Iowa.
Yeah, maybe if NASCAR ever goes, maybe.
If Carrie Underwood's there every year, I'll go.
What about Ed Sheeran? He was there too. No.
Okay.
I will go to Iowa to watch their women's basketball team because my wife has become a big fan of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. David Bell with the I was about to say $2 super chat. He's been a BFM channel member for 2 months. Thank you so much. Wishing you men a great weekend. Race will be fire. Yes, sir. Hey,
thank you.
Your boy's really good there. So hey, yeah, for sure.
True.
Keep an eye out for him. Yep.
Good to see you again, David.
And then Kenan with the $5 super chat. As a Chase Elliott fan, I think it is go time for the number 9 team. It is crazy that Michael is doing really good, which is awesome to see with the points. Exactly. Yeah, Michael McDowell. Yeah, continues to do his thing for sure. Then Austin with the $5 super chat. Happy birthday, Darian. Thanks, man. Love you, man. All love you too. Thank you. Quick discussion for all of you. If you had to build your all-time Hendrick dream team, what 4 drivers do you pick? All right, well, let's get into this quickly. Eric, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
All-time Hendrick dream team. Okay, well, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, obviously. Maybe Terry Labonte. Shoot, okay, let me think. Who am I missing? Oh my gosh. Mark Martin in 2009. Can I get 2009 Mark Martin?
Nope. You're so close. You're so close. Vice Mark Martin with Kyle Larson, 2021.
Yeah, honestly, I'd probably have to take a current driver, Kyle Larson. Yeah. Do I have to pick any specific year? I'm just trying to think, like,
you can just do whatever.
Pick specific. Because I'd pick
Tim Richmond.
Any 90s year Jeff Gordon, 2009 Jimmy Johnson,
2021 Larson.
Yeah, 21 Larson. And Richmond's a good one. And I don't know, man. Something's pushing me towards Elliott. I think Elliott is right up there with Larson, honestly, and at his best. So,
pretty close, yeah. That's not bad. Yeah. Not a bad pick.
I'd agree with Eric's list. Yeah, I'd have to go with that.
I don't even know what my list was.
I think.
My dream team. I got 08 Casey Mears. I've got 09 Brad Keselowski. I've got Lance McGrew, Dale Jr., and then finally we'll end off with Jerry Nadeau.
We don't want. I mean, I get why we wouldn't want to take Brian Vickers, knowing who he's married to.
Oh yeah.
That's the dream team right there that you just named, Danny.
You know what? I'm feeling the 5th part-time car every now and again.
Yeah, that's the mid team, definitely. And then Miles Gurley with the $5 super chat. As a host of our fan, hoping he goes to JRM and not colleague. Happy birthday, BFM. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Fred Dog 81 with the $5 super chat. Happy birthday, BFM. Thank you so much. Is Austin Dillon's helmet toss the worst ever? That was the worst throw I've ever seen since Carly Ray Jepson's first pitch. Wow. Certainly one of the worst. One of the worst.
Tough conditions for sure, but it wasn't great.
Yeah. And he had to throw it uphill too. It was a bit of a challenge, I guess. Alex with the $5 super chat. Hey guys, hope you all are well. If Ty Dillon loses the 77 this offseason, what do you think is the next path for him? Personally, I think he's done. Yeah, I think he should be done, personally. Yeah, I'm with you. On that.
Maybe just RCR Xfinity, but that's about it.
Real estate.
Maybe the Chinese league,
Now real estate.
Yeah. And then Macwell with the $10 super chat. Awesome soccer YouTuber. Happy birthday, Darian, in all caps. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it. And then Alexander with the $10 super chat. With Richmond being this weekend, would y'all consider a crossover event with coaster enthusiasts on this week and visit King's Dominion and Busch Gardens in Williamsburg prior to the races in future years? I've been to both, actually. And they're I think they're extremely close to the track. Intimidator 305 is at King's Dominion, I believe. Yeah, I mean, if I were going, yeah, I'd be down to do that. I've already been to both, so but yeah, sounds fun. Sounds fun.
Roller coasters. I don't do roller coasters.
Have you I don't either.
Have you ridden Intimidator 305?
Oh,
Darian?
dude, I've ridden that since 2010, since it opened. Oh, it is great. You almost black out, dude.
That's what I've heard.
Oh,
I can go over 100 miles an hour on the ground. Just keep me on the ground.
It's amazing. But yeah, Eric,
I'll stick to flying. That's my my way.
Well, damn, it's just me and you, Eric.
All right, that's okay. We got our own road to ourselves. We can hold
hands. There you go. All right, Beast of Metal 1989 with another $10 super chat. Don't worry, folks. I'm almost on the super chats, but thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It costs $20 million to get a charter right now, and annual payments to keep it. While I'm sure Junior has the money, I also think it would be a substantial amount of his net worth to buy into into a bubble with zero guarantees. Yeah, that's a base.
Well, it's 30 million now, and I think his net worth is like 300 mil. So it'd be like 10% of his net worth. And net worth isn't how much money you have; it's like everything you have.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't blame him. I think it's just his excuse now. He's always said he doesn't want to go cup racing with the team. He wants it as an Xfinity team. Now all of a sudden, when the price is out of reach, well, now it's just the price is out of reach. That's the reason why.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Andrew Mayer with the $5 super chat. On Google Maps, the intersection of Columbus Drive and Balbo Drive in Grant Park, where turns 1 and 6 of the street course are, is called Noah Gregson parking. Hardy. They need to get the plaque ready for that one. Damn, we're still joking about that. Yeah, it's one of the all-time follies for sure. Jupiter Rain with the $2 super chat. Logano is hold on. Oh, okay. Logano is invisible most of the year, 2 to 3 per year.
Talking about how many wins he's going to get.
Oh,
I agree.
Okay,
I think I don't know about invisible, but I would say he wins 2 to 3 races a year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's still consistent. That's still something.
No, it's still very good.
Yeah. Isaac with the $2 super chat. Favorite Logano race was Martinsville 2015. Thanks, kids.
That was a fun one to be at. Good atmosphere.
Yeah. And then Alessandro with the $5 super chat, or actually 2 super chats amounting to $15. Thank you, man. I'll read the first one. What other tracks will you guys be attending for the remainder of the season? Also, happy birthday, Darian. You are 26 years young. Yeah, young. Live it up. Thank you, man. I'm planning on just going to Gateway for IndyCar, Las Vegas, and then hopefully the season finale at Phoenix. Those are the only 3 I have right now. What about you guys?
I got Michigan and then Daytona for sure. And then we'll see. Maybe Homestead, Miami.
Okay.
It's just Martinsville for me. No other ones.
Kansas, and then I might add one more. Maybe Phoenix. Maybe Homestead. I don't know.
Alessandro with the second super chat, $10. Thank you. Says, fun little debate for you guys. Which Cup driver had the worst championship defense in NASCAR history? Is it A, Dale Senior 92, B, Kurt Busch 2005, C, Brad K 2013, or D, some other driver not listed? I would say C. Out of those 3, Senior for sure, and 92 definitely for sure.
Probably. I mean, Kurt Busch still made the chase in 2005, I think. So.
Yeah, and then it got fired for a very bogus reason, unfortunately. The final 2 races, but yeah, I'd say Dale Senior personally. But,
yeah, I go with Dale Senior.
Yeah.
Or did Brad Keselowski even make the chase next year?
He did not. He did not. In 2013.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. Antar Das with the $2 super chat. Can a $500 bribe change the pick rules? No. No amount of money can change it. It is sacred. Slake Supersonic with another $5 super chat. Wow, man. Dude, thank you so much for the support. It's all love. Last super chat for the night. Happy birthday, Darian. And he spells it Darien. There we go. Thank you so much, bro. All right, fellas. I promise we're almost done. I promise. Fred Dog 81 for the $5 super chat. You bring up Logano being towed reminds me. Why doesn't NASCAR use flatbeds to carry cars to the back and prevent more damage? Maybe because of a timing thing. Maybe to take.
Does it take? Yeah, I don't know. Does it take too long? I don't know.
Because
I genuinely don't know.
Because I'm assuming you'll have to hook up a bunch of shit to make sure it doesn't fall off the flatbed. So, hey, maybe, a lot slower than just hooking it up in the rear and towing it. But I see your point, though. I see your point because Pocono is a large track. So he was towed for 2 straight miles. Must have been uncomfortable. Nicholas with the $5 super chat. Martin Truex Jr. will win this weekend. And that's it. And
That agreed.
he agrees with y'all. And then Larso with the $2 super chat. Elliot's peak is like Jeff Gordon post 2001 mid. Oh, dude, Gordon, he won so many races after that. Oh, man. Oh, the chase stuff never gets old. And finally, the final super chat of the evening, Milton with the $2 super chat. Dale Sr. Barbie line. Come on, Dale. Let's raise hell. Oh, man.
Wow.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this edition of the Super Chat segment and really this edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Join us next week on Wednesday night, August 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the famous Dannybtalks channel for NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
Danny P Talks? That's what I heard.
Oh, my bad. Danny B Talks channel. For the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Thank you, Danny, for correcting that. We'll preview the Michigan weekend, and we will keep going over our top 75 drivers list going through 20 to 16. Fellas, anything else?
No, good show. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, hanging out with us. We'll see you next week.
Yep, and thank you guys so much for the birthday wishes. It means the world. 26 years old. I don't feel 26, and I got to spend it with you guys once again. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Just one piece of advice, buddy.
What?
Bunt next time.
Yeah. Or actually prepare properly next time. I'll start off with that first. We'll see.
Take a hamstring injury, get a pinch hitter in there.
Yeah. But once again, that would do it for this edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time. Goodbye.
That's the front line. Go get us the W. Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What the copy? Right foot down. We had to go flat. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. Kiss your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Look great. Ridiculous, man. Holy. You see that? Holy cow. Good job, man. 2 times, baby. Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah.
2 arms and a position player and probably at least 1 prospect. Did he foul that off?